Good morning, everyone. Welcome to AM Sports here with me, Muftahu Nabila Abdullahi. We continue with the conversation surrounding the Joy Sports Invitational Tournament, and now we go into the camp of Adansi Travels. They were runners-up in the men's table tennis. Joshua Okai represented the company in the competition, and he says that next year they will be back to win that ultimate crown in the Joy Sports Invitational Tournament.
Honestly, I'm really disappointed because it is a game that I should have won 3-1. I actually led 2-0 before he came 2-2. Now in the fifth game, even in the fourth game, I had a chance leading 10-9, 11-10, and then 12-11. But eventually he won 14-12. And then in the fifth game, I took a lead, 5 lead. And he came back. So I must say I'm really disappointed. But nevertheless, that is a table tennis for you. You need to be more focused whether you are leading or down. The slightest mistake, that is it. So I give credit to him. He really played well. The mental toughness and his psychology was really up there. Notwithstanding, his coach and the supporters were doing a lot of distraction, but that is just the side of it. I had my chances. I was not able to utilize it.
What would you say was the main reason that made you lost? Because it looks like you had in control in the first 2 sets, then he came back. Was it because of the distraction from his fans and his coach? That was the key thing that made you lost?
The distraction was part of it, but he came with a tactics. I realized he came more relaxed. He allowed me to attack, then he does the pushing and then the blocks, and so he was able to capture, but quickly I retaliate, and then I came back. But along the line, it's like I lost focus a bit, because when I took the lead, in my head I thought a bit of complacency. I thought I'm done. But when he came to 9-7, that is where I should have been more focused to play. But I thought, yes, sure, I'm going to win. I go to 10-9, and I was not able to utilize it. So what I would say is I have to be more focused, especially when I get to that very critical point, 10-9, and it will be a thing of the past.
Okay, so what's the way forward? Are we going to see you next year? You're going to participate again? Will you come back harder?
Sure, next year I'm going to participate. Actually, personally, I stopped playing table tennis for about a year. So it was this year I started playing a bit. And due to work, I have to train small for this competition. So next year, since I've started training, I'm really going to continue training and prepare very well for next year. So this we expect us. Next year we are coming in with more fire, and surely we're going to clean the trophy. I mean, this is our second time of participation, and we've been in the finals. So hopefully next year we are taking the trophy, whatever happens.
Adansi Travels there, talking about taking the trophy. And this issue of distraction happens everywhere. And I recall during the CEO penalty shootout where the ladies of, or the staff of the Lackiers were shouting, "Pa, away, pa, away." The CEO of Yak Deco came and missed. Though he was telling them to get out, he still went ahead and he missed it. Then let's go to the chess. The runner-up for that was David Ajekum Boatin. He is with the Youth Employment Agency. He also says he was disappointed, but he's encouraged by the fact that in their debut participation in the Joy Sports Invitational Tournament, they were able to place a second in this competition.
So it's been a while since I played on a board. I normally play online, so it was something new to me. But then I could, find my way about it. So I'm okay. I think I did well, but I could have done better. So yeah, that's it.
All right. Joy Sports Invitational being your first time competing in the chessboard, would you say that it was quite challenging for you?
It was quite challenging, but I thought there would be more people who would like to join. But then the numbers weren't that much, but it was still impressive. I mean, knowing that people play chess in Ghana, I mean, they have a whole association and all that. It was actually fun. So
How do you describe your competitors? Were they very tough on the board?
They were very tough. Some were very tough. Some were very lethal, wicked, and all that. But then I was able to play, so that is.
Are you going to see it in the competition next year?
Yeah, you see me again. I'll be back. I'll be back harder and better and all that. I'll be back. Yeah.
Thank you.
It was Calvin Jimo of Apex Bank who won the chess. And in fact, they're just neighbors. Why he is here and ARB Apex Bank, just the other side of the street. And they met in the final of the men's chess. And in fact, even the player of ARB Apex Bank, Calvin Jimo, also prepared online to compete in the invitational tournament because he didn't have time to go out there and then get a board to prepare. But guess what? They came out there and showed their mettle in this competition. Now let's talk some football stories. Kwesi Appiah is doing some incredible stuff with Sudan. He has taken them to the semi-final of the ongoing Chan tournament. Tonight, they come up against Madagascar in the semi-final, and he's been speaking to the BBC about how he's been able to turn a war-torn country into competitors in African and global football.
It was a difficult situation, but when I took up the job, the management their intention was just to sign me to build a team. But I told them, look, can't just do that. What I need to do, if you have an ambition, your ambition is qualifying to the CHAN, qualifying to the AFCON, qualifying to the World Cup. And that would be a task that I would love to do. If not, then I'm going back to Ghana. But they agreed, and they've been very supportive, even though things were difficult, considering the fact that there was no league, for the past 2.5 years, and been managing with what I have.
I mean, you've done more than just the thing. You've done it very well to get the team this far. What's been the secret?
Football is not just about what happens on the pitch. The most important thing is the psychological thinking of a player. And secondly, letting the player know he's on the pitch there not for himself alone, but to kill himself for his mother nation. And that's exactly what I've been telling them. And
still on football, Please Ladies are representing Ghana in this year's WAFU Women's Champions League qualifiers. It is a competition. If they are able to win, they will be booking a ticket to the CAF Women's Champions League. My colleague Lawrence Bedu was at the stadium when Please Ladies came up against Bayelsa Queens of Nigeria and suffered a defeat. And here the report.
It's a difficult situation, but it was a difficult situation.
Big challenge for Ghanaian champions, Police Ladies, as they suffered defeat in their opening game at the Women's WAFU B Champions League qualifiers. 2 early goals from the Nigerian side meant that it was always going to be a difficult game for the Ghanaians. But then there was a bit of hope for them as Mary Belko scored in the second half. However, that goal was not enough for the team to secure that point from the game against Nigeria's Bayelsa Queens. For Izzy Vasigi, this defeat comes as a tough one for the team as they now have to go to the drawing board and work out how they can get better.
We lost to a good team, or a good side, so at least this has been like more or less like a final game, because a match between Nigeria and Ghana is always a final match, irrespective of where we are starting from. So at least for what we have picked, we'll go to the drawing board and then we discuss it, and from there we continue to make amends.
For Bayelsa Queens, it's a good start, a good momentum for the team as they seek progression into the semi-final and possibly a final appearance.
A game of this magnitude, the first match in a very competition is a tedious match. And looking at the history of when we talk about Ghana, Nigeria for any tournament, the fighting calls will call before the game, during the game, and after the game. So like what we discussed yesterday during the conference, I said, the time we separate the ladies from the women, because the Ghana side for the game we played today, it was a tough encounter. But we knew we want to qualify from that group, we have to put an effort to get our 3 points. So the first match in any encounters goes a long way.
For Police Ladies, they had their tactics wrong, they had results not going their way, but they will be hoping to turn things around, they will be hoping to get better. They have 2 more games to go against ASCO and then Sam Nelly. Hopefully, those 6 points will come in handy for them as they seek progression into the semi-final stage of this competition. They are hoping to replicate the successes of Hazakes ladies and Pemdakwa ladies as far as this competition is concerned. From the Charles Barney Connie Stadium, Lawrence Beidou for Joy Sports.
My colleague Lawrence Beidou reporting from Yamoussoukro in Côte d'Ivoire, where the CAF Women's Champions League qualifiers is currently happening. We are wrapping up with highlights of how Liverpool defeated Newcastle United by 3-2. At 8 a.m., we'll be back to have a conversation with McDan daughters, Anyami and Nashika. They were champions in the lawn tennis. They were McDan also won the men's lawn tennis. We'll also be hosting the overall champions of the Joy Sports Invitational Tournament, Piwak Natural Health. They will be here as well. And just by way of information, unfortunately, one of their athletes suffered a broken arm and underwent surgery yesterday. Part of the medical cost was paid by ARB Apex Bank. They said that in as much as they were at the stadium to compete, humanity first. And in this difficult time, they decided to come to the aid of Francis Mensah, who suffered that broken arm during the Joy Sports Invitational Tournament. So we'll be back again here at 8 a.m. for that conversation.
Under the theme Unlocking Business Opportunities in the Central Region, the 2025 Central Expo is providing a platform for businesses to exhibit and sell their products. At the official opening, the founder of the African University College of Communications and consultant for the Expo, Kojo Yanka, highlighted the business potential in the region.
When we did the first one in 1997, 1998, we got all the districts and we started from the districts so that every district will know what they have. It surprised a lot of people in the district themselves to know that they had all these resources. So apart from what Ghana Investment Promotion is doing abroad, there's a lot more investment promotion to be at home. And you cannot do it effectively if you do not know the resources you have. So that's why I propose that there should be a stakeholders meeting of all those who have a role to play, to come together, to think together, and then see a regional way forward. And this is what I believe the regional minister is happy about.
On the sideline with the media, the Central Regional Minister, Adriamwa Ekopin Otre, highlighted the uniqueness of this year's expo.
We have a lot here in Central Region, and this is about the sixth time that we are having it. And so we have improved upon the previous ones. What is unique about this one, the fact that it's going to take the shape of 24-hour economy. And so I can tell you that we are modeling the 24-hour economy right away in Central Region.
In his address, the president of the Central Regional House of Chiefs, Nana Mwakwa Buedu VIII, assured the support of the region's traditional authorities.
I would say the Central Regional House of Chiefs is currently collating lands within the region. We want to ensure that when investors come and they are looking for land, they have problem-free land. We are working hand in hand with the Central Region Development Commission to ensure that we have land banks in the Central Region so that when the investors come, they know exactly where to go for land.
Representing the Trade Minister, the Director of SMEs at the Ministry of Trade, Cynthia Jokoto, shared government support for SMEs.
The government is equally committed to supporting MSMEs across both the trade and tourism sector through initiatives such as the Apprenticeship to Entrepreneurship and Women in Trade, Agribusiness and Industry Program. Collectively, these measures will enable MSMEs to transition from micro-level operations into competitive enterprise at both the regional and global levels.
The 2025 Expo is from August 23 to August 30. From Cape Coast, Abigail Olisol Nkrumah reports for Joy News.
welcome back to the AM show. A reminder that the show is sponsored by Syntex Tanks. Ghana, let's talk about water tanks. Do you know the secret to real water storage? It's simple. If your water tank does not have the torches on it, then it's not the correct tank. That's right. A tortoise tank, Syntex tank, is the champion of water tanks. It is strong, durable, and built to handle our Ghanaian weather. Rain or shine, Syntex tank has got your back. So go outside, check your tank, and if it doesn't have a tortoise on it, it's time to upgrade. Join the Syntex tank family today and enjoy water storage that tough like a tortoise. Do call us now on 0244 335168, 0244 335168 to buy now or find one of our 400 agents nationwide. You can also shop online at syntexgh.com. Syntex tank, a strong, a tough. Well, okay, sweetie MFA. Oh no, did I say sweetie? Beautiful MFA.
That sounds nice. That's really nice.
I was gonna say sweet MFA.
Yeah, you've had a lot of sweets on this table. That's why.
I won't say anything.
Well, time now for news review, and we've got one of everybody's favorites, Dr. Ekwa Amokwa, Deputy Communications Director, Baumia campaign. Ehono. Today we'll hit there small, okay?
The Baumia campaign, eh?
Yeah.
You hit there?
Yeah, we'll hit that small.
I'm told it's going well, oh.
She's here.
So she'll tell us.
To speak for herself.
Okay.
We've also got Mohammed Bataglia. That name, I have to keep rehearsing it all the time, but MP Sisala East and board member Tour. Lady and gentlemen, doctor and gentlemen, thank you for joining us to do a news review.
Thank you so much.
Bataglia is a very nice gentleman.
Yeah.
And when he meets Ekwa Amokwa, then he becomes
more nicer.
I'm sure this will not cause a problem at our various parties.
I hope not.
No, but politics should not make you anything, so it's fine.
Yeah, we are brothers and sisters.
Yeah, of course.
Anyway, like we do always, let's give you a maximum of 2 minutes to tell us your reflections. Maybe we'll start with you, Honorable Bataglia.
Well, I'll start by saying a very good morning to all of us on this table, our brothers here, and also to use this opportunity once again to greet the people of Sisala East for the opportunity given me. Today, what is really on mind is the happenings in Sola Turba, Etuna, Calabar. Quite sad, once again. I think we have brothers at each other's neck. So far, reports indicate that we've lost about 10 people. It is only my prayer that people should have sober reflections over this. Coming here, I listened through your news line that the Savannah Regional Security Council is calling the parties together to be able to have a dialogue as to how they could nip this in the bud. It is our prayer that this actually should not prolong for a period. We've had some other experiences in Boku. We don't want to have this recurring again at our area because it only continue to plunge the already suffering citizens into much more deeper, difficult situations. We've heard of women and children lying at the schools, hospitals, crying for survival and all that. This is not good. We should try as much as possible to let our tempers calm down. Let's reflect over ourselves. We are one. Pulling a dagger before a brother or after a brother is not a solution to our problems. We have more to deal with than to kill ourselves. So it is my prayer that my brother, the Honorable MP Chiwati, we are with him in these difficult times to make sure that things will be put in place. Thank you.
I mean, yesterday he sounded a bit helpless. Calling on the IGP to send men there because the situation was dire. We spoke to Nadmo. He also painted the same picture that the situation is dire because they even described it as a fire outbreak. That when you hear the situation is in this community, before you know, it is in the other community and it's spreading, you know. So he says the IGP gave them the assurance that he will deploy men. We hope that today that is done to quell what is happening there. It's not a pretty situation. Well, Doc, we don't know about your reflections.
Today, I mean, it's actually quite a sad and unfortunate day. And, you know, funny enough, it's along the same lines as Honorable went. And I was quite happy with the word he used, sober reflection. Because there should never be a situation where political capital is created from the death of innocent people. I was very disappointed to see the video that was going around on Sunday because I thought it was completely unnecessary. If data or anything is to go about, it would also be clear to all of us that most of the things that were said in that video were also not supported in facts, not in any way. They were completely untrue. And the statement was that the former Vice President, His Excellency Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, should not be repeated in the NPP because he's a Mamprusi and there's a conflict. If there was any truth to that matter, knowing Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, I know he would not even present himself again to be flag bearer of the NPP. But there's nothing that points that there's any truth in that. And I would explain just a little for those that are legitimately curious about the circumstances. The Boko Enclave, as we've had in our politics, has never really been an MPP seat. I mean, if you look at the data on those regions, we've never even been able to have more than 2 seats at a time. And even when we had 2 seats, we were not able to retain it. We are always able to take some advantage of maybe some skirmishes in the NDC to take 1 seat here and there, but it's by no means an MPP seat. And so to say that the defeat we suffered was as a result of something like that, when these clashes are something that are very ongoing, they've been reignited, we've seen the deaths of innocents, I think it's very unfortunate for the honourable member to have gone on that tangent. And I think sometimes people make statements and they forget the repercussions that could come. First, you seek to create an impression that some minority groups are excluded from leadership. And I think a lot of people take that personal because we are, as a country, Ghana, we are very diverse. We are all from different places, but we've always had that ability to live together, and leaders come from all corners, especially when there's no factual basis to show that that was part of our problems. I don't know why going on that tangent was necessary, especially seeing just how volatile the conflict is over there. I was on my way here and then someone sent me a news post somewhere in 2016 of one of the groups in that conflict basically attacking His Excellency, the former President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, on the same matter. So it's something that has gone on for a very long time, and from time to time politicians are drawn in. So it is not even the first time because we have a candidate from that zone. His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo also was, brought into the conflict by one of the factions. So again, I don't see how killing of innocents and a conflict that we don't seem to be able to deal with is a campaign message. It shows a little lack in that direction. And as I was talking about how things like this blow down, there are even reports that I've been getting from some of our constituency executives, the youth organizers in that zone now, that after that video and the resurgence of the matter, they are beginning to get threats again as Kusasi people who are MPP. And basically after the election, that was the last time a threat on his life was had, but just after this video and the recent how the matter was been brought back into the limelight, he received another threat. So these are some of the, what would I say, some of the side effects, some of the things that you don't expect to come out from the speech that you make, that seem to happen. So I would admonish and hope that we can drop that kind of conversation because it does not help us at all.
But Brian's side has apologized to say that it was taken out of context.
I haven't seen the apology. I saw a statement that the video was pieced together. I didn't see any evidence of that. In fact, what I saw was a doubling down. And another allegation that I would also want to respond to, that His Excellency Dr. Bawumia did not deliver the northern votes, as he said. But we were all in this country, and I'm pretty sure if we are all being honest, we know the main factor, the main driver of the MPP's defeat. And if we want to be honest to ourselves, we all know that it wasn't a matter of religion or tribe. In fact, all around the country, all around the world in 2024, a lot of incumbent governments, about 80 to 90% of incumbent governments were kicked out because of how hard the times were. So to think that maybe the problems that we had were not existing in the north, and so they should just vote on those bases, is something I find quite difficult. And again, even if you want to be honest and look at it, the only region out of our 16 regions where His Excellency, the former Vice President, had a significant uptick in the number of votes was in his home region, Northeast. So it can be said that it was delivered to us by him. We had a 10% uptick in the presidential votes in Northeast. But to contrast it, in the honorable member's own constituency, he had a drop in his votes. So how would that also be related to religion or tribe? We did not want to go on this tangent of calling people out. We hope this competition would be about presenting to the people of Ghana what we plan to do for them, how we plan to better their lives, our way of driving growth in Ghana. But it looks like some camps would rather do divisive politics that in the end will become an albatross around the neck of the MPP, because after all of this, we would have to come together and fight for power. So we really did not want to go down this line. But I can see that he was speaking less on facts and more on maybe his personal beliefs and perceptions. And if we also want to go on that tangent of personal beliefs and perceptions, one of the things that I think was even the penultimate nail in our coffin in 2024, you know, after this happened before the whole Galamsey issue, was when all the labor unions in this country, TUC, civil society, everyone was against the MPP government at that time because a certain minister wanted to buy the SNED hotels. It was something that we were greatly lambasted for. And it's something that we spent about 1 month trying to deal with when we could have been selling the good policies of His Excellency Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. So I find it very unfortunate that even after we had to go through all of that, there's still a need to apportion blame when there's none to be had. Okay. I would hope that we can move away from this divisive politics, because it is one Ghana. I mean, looking around this table, I'm sure we all come from very different places, but we come here every time, exchange ideas, and that has always been the beauty of our country. So to now descend into a point where we want to generate political capital out of the killing of innocents and a conflict that we do not seem to have a way forward in dealing with, I would greatly ask that we move away from that and condemn such actions so that they do not continue. We cannot make this campaign about these things. How does that benefit the growth of this country, that somebody is from here or somebody from here? I don't think as young people in this country, that's what we are looking for. We want to hear what you have to say. And I was quite happy that some of the youth organizers in the party issued a statement that, you know, this is not the kind of campaign we want. So as we move forward.
Look, is the Bawumia camp capitalizing on this, where you don't actually care whether Ryan's camp says that, listen, that tape is doctored, it's not what I said, it's not what I meant? I mean, knowing that it's a very emotional and sensitive area, is your camp as well using that to gain some traction to yourself?
No.
So that you don't believe him at all? Not
at all, MFA. Have you had the opportunity to see the video yourself? You see, there's great continuity. So I'm no expert, but I do not see any evidence that it's being cut and paste together. There were people that were there because he was campaigning. You know, it was not something that he said behind closed doors in secret. He was campaigning to people. So there were people that were there that heard him. And it actually was a good thing that the video came out, or people would not know what the campaign message from that side was. So I don't want to take this whole matter of doctored. If it was an apology, maybe I did not mean that, I was misled. You know, those are things we can go with. And we do not, and we don't enjoy this. I'm sure you can tell since I even turned up in the studio this morning. That's not the kind of conversation we want to have. And I'm actually hoping that he doesn't go on that tangent anymore, and that kind of politics can just die a natural death. It's not something we enjoy talking about.
Maybe we wrap with that particular statement from the youth organizers. It says, the constituency youth organizers within the New Patriotic Party has noted with deep concern the recent reckless and tribal comment made by Honorable Brian Achampon against His Excellency Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, former Vice President of the Republic and flag bearer of the MPP for the 2024 general elections. We unequivocally condemn these unfortunate remarks, which are not only divisive, but also an affront to the spirit of unity, inclusiveness, and progress that our great party stands for. The MPP has, since its inception, thrived on the collective contributions of Ghanaians from all regions, religions, and backgrounds. Any attempt to sow seeds of tribalism and disunity within our party undermines the sacrifices of our founding fathers and jeopardizes the confidence of millions of Ghanaians who look up to the MPP as the party of hope, development, and national cohesion. So that's coming from the constituency youth organizers on this particular development, yeah. Emefa, you wanted to come in?
No, I was gonna allow Honorable to...
Oh, okay. Well, naturally, I shouldn't have been commenting on this because it sounds like I should have given my dear sister the opportunity to talk more on this because it's more about home match. But it calls to mind a whole lot of things. One, to ask whether as a country we are progressing. Sometimes we do things and emphasize on them not because we think they are the right things to do, but because we think they favor us. One would have thought that at this point, issues about tribalism serving as indicators to be able to point out who leads this country or not shouldn't have been the issue. Because some time past, we did ask these questions. And we teased in a more positive way. We teased our brother, His Excellency, the former Vice President, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, saying that, yes, you appear as a very competent person. That's what the people say. You appear to be somebody who is working so hard for the country, for MPP. Are you sure you are accepted as such? Or you wanted to be, you will be used as a tool to just get what? Power. Those days, they felt that the commentary then from us was not a genuine one. We felt that, no, you were somebody there killing yourself, doing all the press conferences. Pointing out, even at a point when we came to 2024 election, we decided to move away from that tribal talk and we're looking at the issues because you were doing this A, B, C, D, acts against what? This. Today, why are you not doing those? That's why we're looking at more of economic issues. But today, it has gone full cycle in his back. Those he leaned on to showcase himself are now telling him that, no, we are here because you led us. We are here because you come from a small group. We are here, even the small group you come from do not agree to themselves, they kill themselves. That's what they're telling us. And I think it's quite unfortunate. There's only one, sometimes I try to analyze politics and in terms of leadership. People will come to conclusion on two things. And if you have lucky, or three things rather, those who think that you should be there because they have control over you. Those who think that when you are there, they will benefit. And the final group, those who think that you are competent, when you are there, the nation will progress. You will be a lucky person if you have a group of people going for the last group. And that's the challenge he's facing today. But who are we? We are waiting. We are just waiting. We are waiting. As we are waiting. But this is not the way we want to go.
Yeah.
The issues about, no, it's not proper.
I mean, election should be about issues, right?
No, it should be about issues.
Yeah.
And clearly, I think that they should up the game.
Okay.
We are also giving you a question. Tomorrow, when we begin to talk about this, I'm sure my decision will say that, why are you taking that? Because you gave us the tools.
You see, and that's the problem that most of them, I don't know what is preventing them from seeing that. Because not later than January 31st, all of this will be over.
Yeah.
And as a party, we would have to unite and come behind one candidate. So if you seek to lead us and you cannot put the image of the party above what you think would help your campaign, I think that's a very problematic trait as well.
Okay.
Because this is a question we would have to answer in the future, just as Honorable said. The NDC, they are not sleeping. They are
taking notes.
They are taking notes.
They are taking notes.
Yeah.
Well, the youth organizers have demands. One, they say that they are calling on Honorable Brian Achampon to immediately retract his comments and render an unqualified apology to Dr. Bawumia, the good people of Ghana, and the entire MPP family. They urge the leadership of the MPP to take steps to ensure that such divisive rhetoric has no place in our party as we march confidently towards victory in 2024 elections. And they say, we reaffirm our unflinching support for Dr. Bawumia as the flag bearer who represents the future, vision, and aspirations of the Ghanaian youth. These are their three demands that they are putting across. Yeah.
I have the Daily Guide with me here. And, Doc, so one story that has my attention, 10 arrested, weapons seized ahead of Akwetia by-elections. Yesterday, I did that news on the midday bulletin, and then one person that I really wanted to engage was you and Harry Nanabuachi, because late last week we had a conversation here on the show together with Rashid Tanko Computer. And one thing stayed with me all through the weekend. Harry Nanabuachi said that, well, okay, the police, we're okay that they're coming to Akwetia to ensure security, but our faith in them is hanging. Does this arrest in any way change how much your faith in them? Is it still hanging? Has it dropped in any way? Has it increased?
No, of course there's been a complete breakdown of trust between the security services and the New Patriotic Party. And this is not the best way for them to... I mean, it's a step in the right direction. People should not be able to bring arms into the by-election zone. But it does not give us enough comfort going into the election that will be protected. You see, the problem is not too long ago, we were in a conflict zone, basically, in our own country, in the capital of this country, in Greater Accra. It was turned into a conflict zone. So it's very difficult, and I think it's expecting a lot from the MPP. That's in just less than, has it been 2 months, that we totally forget about that incident and just how helpless the police were to be able to place our trust in them again. You see, some of these issues come down to survival and just self-preservation. As a human being, you have that natural instinct to want to live, to want to survive. And so if you see your colleagues just treated anyhow, not just treated anyhow, but mercilessly beaten just a few months ago, I don't think anybody will be able to have some trust in the system barely 2 months down just because some arrests have been
Will it be the number of days or years after that incident, or it will be some actions that the police will? Because I recall that some days ago, they indicated that they had arrested some persons, some suspects that were engaged in the Ablikuma North rerun elections.
I saw that.
They have as well done this one. Because then beyond the Akwetia by-election, there are going to be many more elections.
Yes, so they have the Akwetia
There are going to be days that the NPP or the NDC is going to have to depend on the police anyway. Of
course.
So at what point, really?
We are going to watch them at the Akwetia by-election. That's really going to be a show of what kind of police force they want to be. That's their next opportunity to prove themselves. I did read the news article about the arrest on the, but we don't know who has been arrested. Funny enough, as I said here the other time, so much fanfare is made out of people that tweet or make a TikTok video and get arrested. In fact, there's still a journalist who has been remanded. I wonder what's going on there. The journalist from Wuntumi as well. But that we always see his face, like it's very public. You don't have to think far to know who has been arrested for what. But on these issues, I don't see that the same kind of will. So it's something that we would have to watch and see how they conduct themselves in Akwetia. And at that point, we can then revisit this conversation as to if the trust will return. But I mean, you cannot blame us for being very high on self-preservation.
Well, the bigger issue is the two parties involved. That's the bigger issue. As we sit here today, if the NDC and MPP decides that there won't be any conflict in Akwetia, there won't be conflict. The police, yes, if we decide and we are honest with ourselves and people do not go to orchestrate things just to paint, it's politics. People will use all other means. All other means.
Are supporters not supporters, Honorable? Supporters are supporters yesterday. Supporters are supporters today.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. But supporters do not just support vacuum. They support a party. And the party has a strategy, depending on what is facing you. That's a fact. Today, we've gotten an accusations. Even when I was coming here, I heard that clearly MPP accused NDC of plots to lynch out mayhem during the election.
Because of some of the pronouncement they've had, not so.
You see, it's just like the pronouncement made by my sister.
Okay.
And last time we came here, 3 weeks or thereabout, I think when I looked for something, he said, if the police is not doing enough, they will be prepared to defend themselves. He said that. But I also indicated to her that yes, she might be saying that because of issues, but not that she's a violent person. No. It is for us to understand that it's an election we are going into and to come out.
Even as our late brother, Ernest Kumi, when he was there, NDC had issues with him, being a parliamentarian, representing the people. But after he passed on, we all came together, mourning as a country, saying that, no, this guy is a good person. Beyond the politics, he's a good person. So the same way, we are looking for a representative. For me, I have no doubt, because there's much for us to talk about, messaging and everything, looking at where Akutia wants to be in the next 4 years. We have a good message to. I don't know why NDC should go fighting anybody. But let's also trust. Like she said, she made a very interesting point that the capital became a conflict zone. Let me even assume without admitting that was the case. That was the case. But that was between two parties. But at a point in this country, the same capital, Ayawaso, it was NDC as against state apparatus. Not just NDC against APP, no. This is now we are moving away from that. And I think at a point when we begin to look at it critically, we as politicians make mockery of ourselves, because people think that anytime you are out of power, the police become a target of somebody who is hostile against you. And anytime you are in power, because somebody will also point out to me and say, but prior to 2024 election, you were always everywhere condemning the police. Same. My sister was everywhere defending the police. So the real actors are just us sitting down here. If we agree today that when we go to Akutia and come back without any mayhem, it will happen. So my appeal is that let's put Ghana first. I have every trust, and I'm very hopeful. I made a joke last time here that even if we are going to contest election in Manchester this time, we are bold to go as NDC. There's no point going to fight anybody.
Honorable, now you are being, this is overconfidence. Wow.
I'm just telling you, we are bold to go.
Will you not contest in the Volta region?
If you know that decision is a little above my me. But he said,
no, I mean not you personally. I mean, when the NPP contest in the Volta region, though, is widely believed.
Oh, of course we will contest.
So if he has confidence to contest,
it's what he said the previous time.
This is a seat.
He said we would shake, and that's what I'm telling you. That's just not possible.
What I'm trying to say is that this is election 2024. We lost that seat by just 2,000 votes or barely 2,000 votes. I get it. That's 53 against 47%. So it means that the chances are good. The chances are good for NDC to pick this seat. So I think the candidate of NDC has good message. Do you want to put somebody there who will go complain and tell the president will not listen to me, or you put somebody there for the next 3 years, the constituency will get? You have a good look at all the indicators pointing out. Clearly, you have message. Why do you have to go fight it?
Look, I have a question.
Okay.
If Akutia by-election doesn't go your way, what message would it send? How would you feel about it?
Her focus is the presidential term.
Not exactly that. You see, I don't think we as a party have even considered that Akwetia would not
when people go into, I mean, both parties are here. When you go into elections, whilst you think about the win, do you prepare for the losing as well?
Of course.
Yes, of course. You know, and especially depends on where you're having these elections. The dynamics in almost every constituency in this country are a little different. And there's a lot of groundwork that's done before some pronouncements are made. And in Akwetia, we are very prepared and we are confident that we will not lose the Akwetia seat. But in any case, I am not one of those people that believes that an election defeat is the end of the world. It just means at that point, at that moment in time, the people are just telling you to go and come back better. So it doesn't mean that everything you did was wrong or that you really had nothing.
She has a way of campaigning for Bomia. That's what she has done right now.
But there are seasons to everything. And so, but I don't believe that in this particular time in Akwetia, I do believe it's the season of the MPP, as it has been over the years.
Okay.
Let's do the newspapers, and when we have time, we'll talk about what Martin Pebu believes about Baumia and then the other candidates as well on the chain. But
really?
I want us to look at the BEC results that have been released. Now, we're told that WAEC has cancelled 895 results, withheld 1,333 in 2025 BC over malpractice. It says the West African Examination Council has released the provisional results of this year's BEC with nearly 2,300 candidates affected by sanctions for malpractice. A total of 603,328 candidates, which included 297,250 boys and more girls are going to school today. 306,078 girls from 20,395 schools sat the exams at 2,237 centers nationwide. According to WAEC, 2,526 pupils were absent. In a statement signed by John Kapi, head of public affairs, WAEC confirmed that following investigations into irregularities during the exams and the marking of scripts, the 36th meeting of Final Awards and Examiners Appointment Committee approved several punitive measures. Well, I've seen some results coming in from some place and they were incredible. But how do we really deal effectively with malpractices during exams? Honorable.
Well, I think for this, it all boils down to the orientations. I keep saying this. Yeah, where if you have a system running towards immediate gratifications rather than delayed, people want to find shortcuts to make life. A system where people don't question why people are living a particular life, those things will happen. We have schools now, all the glory they get is the what? The results they produce, not the character of the children they produce. So if you have a school that will focus on just getting A's, irrespective of what the child can do, people glorify those schools. Every parent run toward that school without finding out what actually is the school producing. And that's the focus, the challenge we have as a country. For me, this BC, I think the SSLA is generally, on the whole, we have about 1,295 people sitting for that exam.
Okay.
I met with them. I made an opportunity. I got an opportunity because some of them are coming from very far communities. I got my people to be able to provide one hot meal for them for the period of the exam. I told them, the important thing is you. And these are children who are asked to make a decision at the time that they themselves are in conflict with their own self. So we need proper guidance to be able to make them, to shape their lives, to take the right decisions. I told somebody, and it was like a joke, at that tender age, if you are a teacher who wanted to push them to read more, if you are not careful, you are the person they'll be mocking at. And so we need the right people to have the right patience and right thinking and psychology to be able to put them at the right track. But what do they see? I keep telling people that, no, somebody will see, maybe you go to a school and somebody will say, oh, doctor has come in with a beautiful car. The person is not focusing to find out her profession, how she has gotten to that place. The focus is just the car, because we are more of materialistic driven than looking at issues that will really transform us as human beings. So if we begin to have this kind of orientation, let people know that, no, let's begin to gratify the right. Let's make sure that, yes, delayed gratification is imbued in these little children, so they understand that you have to go through the mill. It doesn't really matter the material possessions. It matters what you contribute to society. If you do that, I am sure going forward, these things will change. But it will take time. Otherwise, the current situations we are seeing, we've gotten people children who are supposed to be in school will run to Galamsey size because they think that somebody will come from Galamsey and ride a motorbike. We have that challenge. People will stay, children will go doing, but instead of going to school, they think that it's waste of time. All that is a shortcut. And once you have that, it's difficult to have people stay in school, learn. People do not even go to library again. No, library means nothing again. Even though we talk about technology, I made it the point here last time that in some other jurisdictions, technology has always become an advantage for people to grow. But in our day, largely, people rather retrogress because of technology. Because what is supposed to put them in school? I've seen students bend down school just because they ask them to use phones. They bend down school, they get angry and bend down school because they think that you asked them not to stop and go to library. No, use the thing with your phone to read, they won't read. So it's a challenge we have to look at as a nation to see that, no, what are we showcasing to our children? The young ones behind us, the generation we want them to come and take over from now. What are we showing to them? If we are able to do that kind of self-introspection as a country, then we understand that, no, we need to go and try to cross the T's and then put the right dots as where it's supposed to be, making sure that character matters, attitude matters, problem solving. We should be people who are trained at a very tender age to be able to deal with problems. If we think that that's the way to go, then that will be the best. Otherwise, we are facing a big challenge that people will want to find all forms of ways to be able to get shortcuts. And it's about the accolades, the grades. We've gotten them. I've asked somebody who had A in maths and cannot differentiate between triangle and
How did the person get the A?
That's the point. I'll give you a story that in my life. Somebody even one time called me and said they wanted assistance to get to Sunyani. That's the nursing training college there. Okay,
Honorable, we'll come back to you, but let's bring in the head of public affairs for WAEC, John Kapi, who's joining us on the phone lines now. I'm grateful to you, sir, for joining. Now, we understand that you've cancelled some results. Run us through those and let's know what you're doing as a remedy to deal with those cancelled results.
Thank you. I think that for those who had their results cancelled, they'll have to wait until next year to register and then write, and then ensure that they do not repeat the mistakes that they made or the deliberate attempts to cheat in the course of the examination.
Hey, that will be okay. I thought you had some remedials that you used to organize. Can they take advantage of that?
Yes. Well, we organize remedial exams, but these are done annually, especially for BEC. It is done just once in the year. It is the one that is done twice a year.
Okay. Okay, so that's for those who have been cancelled. What about those you've withheld?
Well, those that have been withheld are those whose steps were found to have, and the examiners realized that there were some that didn't do independent work. There was some collusion in some of them. And so we are going to give them a hearing. We are bringing the evidence of collusion and other forms of cheating before them. And then they will have to answer questions as to how it happened. And if they are convincing enough, fine. Otherwise, we'll go ahead and cancel them. If they also are found not culpable, we will release their results.
Well, and when will this happen?
Well, we are working around it in the course of this week and next week. So hopefully by the 6th of September, all the results will be out.
Okay, 6th of September, yeah? Okay.
Yeah, maybe if you can hear me. So the numbers that have been withheld, you're giving them a fair hearing. For the 895 cancelled, this was outright cancellation. Were they giving any fair hearing or per the rules, once the invigilator is able to determine that you cheated or you engaged in any form of malpractice, it amounts to cancellation outrightly?
Well, usually when the exam is ongoing, we have people who go around to monitor. Now, in the course of the examination, if a candidate is found with foreign material on them, they are made to write a statement to admit the offense. So based on that, we can cancel straight away because the candidate has at that moment admitted their offense. But those that we have withheld are because we discovered this not in the presence of the candidate. And so we are now going to give them a hearing. We show them the scripts and they tell us their story. Of course, most of the time they'll tell you nothing happened, but there's obvious collusion that is found in the scripts. And so we take a decision based on the rules of the examination.
For the malpractice this year and last year, if you compare, which one is more serious, the numbers particularly?
I have not looked at it closely, but from what we announced, it looks as if the figures have gone slightly higher.
What is it? Is it that more candidates are sitting and registering, are sitting and taking the exams, or where now the surveillance is a lot more tighter, so you're picking up more numbers? Is it strange that the numbers have increased?
Well, we have increased our monitoring at this time, but I think that people are getting more and more daring because some of the things that we record when we go out to monitor are things that you would wonder how and why they happen that way.
Okay.
You also said results from 87 schools remain under scrutiny. What are you looking for?
Well, so scrutiny simply means that the examiners have reported that the candidates colluded or that something went wrong. Now, you don't go ahead to cancel just because an examiner has said it. You will have to convince yourself. And so this scrutiny is going to be done in order that we convince ourselves that indeed what the examiners are reporting is true.
Or not. All right. But in terms of performance, compared to last year, what are we looking at? Was this year's performance better than last year?
Well, we haven't done that comparison because with the T9 grading system, we usually do not compare it year in, year out. So for this particular one, we haven't compared it with the performance of the previous year. So we cannot say, for example, that this year is better than last year.
Okay. All right. Grateful to you. John Kapi is head of public affairs for WAEC. So that's it. Doctor, we didn't come to you on this.
I would have to agree on most of the things he said. The culture of...
okay, hold on.
Did
you finish your story?
That's right.
Did you finish your story?
Let me, for the sake of, I just think that we have to emphasize on standards, making sure that we shape the children right, to let them understand. Our orientation should be completely different. Let's get them off that kind of materialistic tendencies, the shortcuts, to make sure that we prepare them to be able to take over from us as a whole group. I think I'll end that to give
It mustn't just be about chew and pour, pour and pass and go.
Yeah, that's true, because it's a cultural problem. I'm sure every year we have this issue. Every year. Sometimes the whole papers are cancelled and you have to rewrite it. I remember it got to a point there was English that was cancelled and everybody had to rewrite it. So it looks like it's a systemic problem that we deal with. I was quite happy about the gender parity we had achieved. That is something we achieved.
This is not parity. You've surpassed it.
It's something that was achieved last year. One of the byproducts of the free senior high school. I'm actually quite proud of some of the things that the MPP government achieved in the health sector, even though it was one of the biggest. That's where the NDC invested so much of their propaganda money into our education sector to find problems with the free SHS policy and feeding, and we'll cancel double track. But I'm pretty sure these the students that just finished the BEC will still have to go through a double track system in the secondary school. I'm sure the NDC has now seen that it wasn't so terrible and that there are benefits to making sure that we can accommodate all the numbers of our young sisters and brothers who have finished the junior high school and want to progress to senior high school. There's no space, it's not an excuse to let somebody's child stay at home. There's no money, it's not an excuse to let somebody's child stay at home. Now that the shoe is on their foot, I've seen footage of some of the food that's been saved, and this was one of the things that they really complained about. So again, I am hoping this is not one of the things that we are told is only 8 months, because I don't think it should take that long if you had that genuine will to improve the feeding. Or have they just come to realize that things were not just as easy as they thought?
Okay, interesting. In terms of general performance, I have seen some results coming from a school in my area.
Okay.
And it's beautiful. In fact, I don't know. I hope that this is the way the entire district or municipal will be. There's a school called Princess Catholic Basic School in Princetown. For students who had aggregate 6, there are 2 of them. For students who had 7, 21, 8, 13. Those who had 9, 6. Those who had aggregate 10, 6. And 1 person had 11. So all 49 students had between...
That's distinction.
Yes, between 6 and 11.
Because 6 to 12
incredible. Yeah, just incredible. And before the exams, I met them in Princetown, young girls and boys, and I was like, Charlie, force, do... Yeah, so the headmaster called me yesterday and said, you remember the interaction you had with the students? I'm sending you their result. I looked at it, I was like, wow. This is beautiful. So you know what? As we do, permit me to do this. Melma Mobo Princetown, more cry, Mobo exams where the performance a year pekasuma. Mukra Menobenyan 6 year, but the Meniani, Menobenyan 7, but the 21, Menobenyan 8, 13. I mean, the result is a year peka too much. Inti Yamanese Yilabe, by the pa bohosro. Na bodu azrobo senior high school na be mama ne be zemo be very proud but hozo ambozuma de keep focused na the bela so ko baka ma be ojokumla nso mo ngan bene samba na mali umojuma odia nyamne wo. Thank you very much for
for giving you the
congratulations to them. So
yes,
you have to teach us the
okay, so I was congratulating them.
Right.
And telling them that they've done well. I just gave them the breakdown of their results and said they should keep focused and keep making their parents, fathers proud with what they are doing, and they should move on to the senior high school and continue making Ahanta proud.
It is very difficult when parents have to go for placements, when they go to the placement centers, and you have parents who have their awards having like single digits, fighting for placements, and a parent having a grade of 25, 30, also fighting. You want to make it easy for your parents, you know, when they are fighting.
Yes.
They're fighting. Yeah.
Give them good grades to go and fight.
At least.
I agree with that.
But Honorable, what you have, Daily Graphic says that what?
Well, we have quite a lot. Daily Graphic, we have President Mahama in Singapore for a state visit. I think they've moved from Japan. We have Z9 helicopter crash probe underway. Report expected in 30 days. Then we have Yoku recovers 100 stolen vehicles. Warns public to be vigilant.
Okay. What about you, Doc? What you have on your... any story has your attention?
Well, so it's the investigation board begins work on Z9 helicopter crash as well. We are eagerly awaiting that report because we do not want a repetition of that incident. We have ADB MD comments University of Education Winneba for launch of bold strategic plan will ensure a peaceful elections in Akwatia or Pariado. We hope you actually mean that. Then we'll come to the front page of the Catalyst. It says Mahama meets UN Secretary General at TCAD 9. GIS warns public against fake recruitment scam. I think this is the second time we've spoken about a recruitment scam on this set. Minister halts illegal lagoon filling at Pong Kataman. So Mahama lands $100 million agric deal.
Okay.
And and inside, well, it looks like somebody took exception to the comments of Honorable Brian. I would save us that, but the headline alone is punchy enough. Let me just read that.
Then you've done your best.
Let me just, I think it's an interesting headline. MPP and the masquerade of tribal politics. The Brian Champon follies. You see, we don't want to be made a subject of ridicule. So.
We know you, so we describe you long before.
Well, BNFT, CSOs won the PRMMA amendment could obscure all revenue spending, capitalize on CD gains to import agric, manufacturing machinery, AGI, yield compression slowed down to persist in Q2 of 2025 as Treasury prepares bond market return. FL Kofi leads women in fintech delegation. But there's, on the National Enquirer, something would interest someone and someone will be happy, someone won't be. Julius Debra says, digital economy at the heart of Ghana's growth strategy. You know why I said one will be happy, one won't be?
Oh, no, we are both happy.
Okay.
We are both happy.
Did you hear it?
I heard it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Digital economy.
Because it didn't just start at one person's end.
Okay.
The investment started long before.
Okay. All right.
It's only because the drift of campaign that made us talk about those things.
Okay.
Yes.
Now.
But we can quantify who did what.
No,
okay.
We are building on. So.
It is dangerous to repaint rusty gas cylinders, MPA, to the public. MPP left 9 billion cedis debt at the Agric Ministry, Eric Opoku says. Health Minister hits back at critics. Quote, I am a proud farmer, unquote. President visits to Japan. Ghana secures $100 million for new agricultural project, Okujeto says.
And on the Daily Guide this morning, U.S. assists Ghana in helicopter crash investigation. And the story on page 3 as well says that Finance Ministry in 1.3 million Ghana cedis procurement breach. The story is on page 3. Top justices, lawyers rally for Tokono. Story is on page 4 of the Daily Guide this morning. And I think that the time that the Daily Guide was reported, the number of persons who have been killed and sustained at Bin Yuri land dispute, they reported 5. But as of yesterday, in fact, we're getting to 12, 10 confirmed, 2 nearly going to be confirmed. And there's a scene of how that's happening in front of the Daily Guide. A little later on the show, we shall be talking to Yoko, but you tell me about how you feel, how they, so far, the clampdown on the reports of stolen vehicles and how Yoko is dealing with it directly.
No, to me, I think it's not a good spectacle. You know, this is the time the president is making good effort to create a good impression about the country, to lure investors into our country for better terms. All we are being bombarded on a daily basis is how bad we are in terms of not even being to legally get vehicles. We allow our system to receive stolen vehicles with our top stars and many other people. And it's becoming a challenge to the extent that they are even putting up to 100 vehicles already recovered. No, that's not a small number. And even now, they categorize some of the cars we use, F-150, Dodge Ram. So if you are in those cars,
which is
they mentioned F-150.
Yes, they mentioned F-150, Dodge Ram. They even mentioned Honda too. I'm not the only person. So you see all those things. Yeah, some people work hard to be able to buy these cars, and unfortunately, they buy it at the wrong place. And this is what the embarrassment they go through, which is not good at all. It's not a good spectacle for Ghana. And I think that the system should be able to fight this. We shouldn't allow a polo system to allow this. I don't just blame the buyers, I blame the system too, because we should have proper checks and balances so that we don't allow this thing to our country. It's not a good spectacle.
Okay, Doc. Are you impressed so far? Yoko is working, is it not?
No, MFI, you're trying to set me up this morning.
No.
I mean, Yoko has done, I mean, the way Yoko handles some matters, leaves a lot to be desired. The outrageous bail conditions, how some of the investigations are handled. But on this case of the stolen vehicles, let me just be honest. I mean, it's something we need to look at. We don't need to suffer that kind of embarrassment as a country. But I also believe that the proper way to deal with this is to have systems that make it very difficult for the cars to even come in the first place. And so that's another way that strengthening our digital systems will be very helpful, because if the surveillance is high at the ports and the cars cannot even get through, I think we'll be able to prevent some of these things so that innocent buyers are not found wanting. Because you see how many CRVs we have in this country, and you know, that's not too much of a luxury vehicle. So whoever would have bought that CRV would have put in some work. Yeah. That's like a working class vehicle, if I'm not wrong. It's not the Range Rovers of the bunch. I think. But
is F-150 a luxury vehicle? It is not. It's a truck.
It's a truck, but it's a luxury.
F-150. What? It is a luxury truck.
It's a luxury truck.
Yeah, it's a luxury truck.
I'm just saying the truck.
It's a luxury truck.
It's a luxury truck.
But the CRV, you know, it really could be any of us.
People even just buy because of the fuel efficiency too. You know,
of
it's
the
now
CRV.
CRV is 1.5, and when you are having it in town, it's good.
It seems to be the ultimate working class car. So it's very worrying that people.
For the luxury cars, do you think that when a buyer is purchasing a luxury car and there are questions, they won't know?
So I think for the luxury cars, in my opinion, most of them who buy it are aware that they are buying a hot vehicle. Because if you are buying a $250,000 car, that's fresh off the showroom, and you're buying it in Ghana for even $150,000.
You should question yourself. Yes, you should question
yourself. I mean, how
maybe
do you
you're a
get
good
so
negotiator,
lucky?
or maybe God's grace upon you is different from.
It's making you buy the car cheaper than the factory price. Wow, we need some of that grace then.
Okay, so this story as well has my attention. Top justices rally for Tokono. Allegations cannot justify removal from office. Now, two former Chief Justices of the Republic, Justice Sophia Kufu retired and Justice Enemi Yeboah retired as well, together with other legal luminaries and juries, have appeared before the five-member Article 1 Forces Committee established by President John Dramani Mahama to testify in support of the sitting Chief Justice Gertrude Tokono Sackey. Sources close to the committee have confirmed. Now, among the other jurists and very well-known legal minds who have also appeared before the committee, according to source familiar to the development, are Dr. S.K.B. Asante, lawyer and paramount chief of Asokari Asante in the Ashanti region, chairman of the committee of experts that drafted the constitution, and Justice Jones Doche, retired Justice of the Supreme Court. The list also includes Mr. Samuel Okujetu, a former member of the Council of State and a renowned legal luminary with over 65 years standing. You know, Honorable, the list here, persons who are who are testifying or rallying support for Tokono. What comes to mind hearing some of the names?
No, as for do we have Sophia or?
Yes.
Yeah, Sophia for her, because I think she's been consistent.
Mm-hmm.
In her case, I think that it's a system. We have a document governing us as law. Me, I want it to be tested to the fullest so that it can be made right for the ordinary people.
Okay.
And if we are fortunate to have people who are legal luminaries going through this process, it's not just for ordinary people. Let's test it at the end, but let's make sure that the right thing is being done. The process as being stipulated by the Constitution is followed. Whatever opportunity that is given to everybody to be able to prove himself or herself, that should be done. I'm not interested in arm twisting or anything, but I also think that we should test the law to the letter so that we can shape this country and make sure that it is the rule of law that rules and not the rule of man. That's what we are doing. We don't want strong men to be the people leading us. We just want laws to be able to take care of the vulnerable. And that is it. Because this same constitution and these same laws affected many other people who are vulnerable, who didn't even have people to talk for them. Some people are even in remand for over 8 years. They don't have somebody talking for them. Today, we have the legal luminaries facing the same constitution as per the procedures.
In fact, it was voluntary appearance.
Yes, so you see. So they are doing this. So let them go through the mill. And once the thing is justified, and the same article 14611 gives the opportunity. Once everything is cleared, and if she has to be called back, she will call back. And so I think that is the law. Let it take its course.
Okay.
It's, you know, it's the push string and everything that you guys said before you initiated this.
When you say we guys, I'm just saying something different.
I mean, the government in power is everything that you said in opposition. That leads most Ghanaians to believe
just
that
let me ask you
you are not doing this in good faith.
Let me ask you a question.
Okay.
The comments of a Brian Achampon, a top member of the party, does it reflect the nature of your
That's
party?
a very good question.
Does
but
it
you see, the times are very different.
How is it
It's
different?
very obvious that we are having an internal squabble and some shots to be thrown.
Yeah.
But this was no other person than your even the chairman of your party.
I talked about somebody who is hoping to be presidential candidate too.
Oh, that's not the same. The betting has not even. So for now, he's an honorable member for Abetifi. We are talking about your chairman, very high places, sort of preempting what they wanted to do. So one would say that this whole Article 147 hearing is not something that's been done in good faith.
Preempting what? The process or... But if the law acts as words, people want the law. The law must be predictable.
She said the law is the law.
Predictable, yes. She said that the law is the law, but not when you are applying it in a very capricious and biased way.
It's not applying in any
That's the huge responsibility that you have as a leader of this country. You exercise a lot of discretionary power, and that same constitution we have maintains that you must exercise that discretionary power in a manner that is unbiased, not capricious. And we do not see that coming from the government. It looked like this was planned from day one. We've heard what they've said and everything. And some of the things that the Chief Justice has been put through, it's just not right. After her press conference, in fact, I was so touched and sad about everything that happened. And I'm quite happy that now at least more people are showing up publicly to try and prevent this judicial coup that this government wants to undertake. I know I sat somewhere to say that, you know, His Excellency John Mahama is on his last leg and everything. But if he's not careful with this issue, this will be his legacy, that he was the one that removed a sitting Chief Justice over allegations that, you know, did not really hold any water. I don't know if anybody has had the opportunity to go through the petitions, and some of them are bother on matters where she wasn't, decisions of the bench, essentially. There are 5 people and you are singled out to come and answer for that. Some of them are in undertaking her administrative role. If you're in any position of power, especially when there's politics behind it, when I say politics, I don't mean by the general word, I mean like the way there's office politics. So you can imagine the kind of politics in the judicial service. It is the responsibility of whoever is in charge and is initiating this process to be able to see through it. That's, as somebody that was in that position, obviously she would have some enemies. And that is not it's not a crime that people do not.
I can imagine my dear sister, Mrs. Charlotte, to say.
No, it's not.
Office politics.
You see, it's not the same thing. You see, the Chief Justice is the head of one of the arms of government. To me, I find it a little strange when we want to compare the two situations just because they are both women. They are not the same. There are 3 arms of government: the executive, the judiciary, and the legislature, which you are a member of. They are supposed to be independent and they are supposed to run checks on each other. That is why in the history of this whole country, nobody has successfully removed one of the other heads, like the head of a judiciary has never been done. It is only His Excellency John Mahama who wants to leave that as part of his legacy. So as we are keenly watching to see how those proceedings go. But as I'm not holding my breath. It looked like something that was pre-cooked before the hearings even started.
The processes are clear, and I think that there's nothing like capricious. No. The processes are clear, as stipulated in the Constitution. I indicated Article 146 clearly states it, and that's what they are going through. So I think that let's leave it as such and wait what happens.
But does the new twist add anything, bring anything to this?
No, it's just about, it's a witness. They go to also make a case. But it adds up to the whole idea, because it's just like if I have a case in court, I'm given the opportunity to bring people to come and say, yes, they know this or they don't know this. And then it's just adding up to the process, even further enriching the process. Because remember, she put a lot of cases before the courts, right from the High Court to the Supreme Court, on a number of occasions. She even went to the ECOWAS courts. We saw all that.
Do you see her coming back?
Well, as to whether she's coming back or not, that depends on what comes up there. I don't know the final say of this. Okay. I don't know what is really transpiring there. Let's wait and see what will come, because I believe that the Council of State is a body of strong people, people who have the gravitas, who have seen it all. So they cannot be cut off by just a particular process, a political process to take a decision that will go against them. No. So let's wait and see what transpires.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. If you go on to myjoyonline.com, President John Mahama is challenging the global financial system to treat Africa fairly, warning that the continent cannot close its vast financing gaps through charity, but only through access to capital at the right price. Speaking at the opening of the 8th Africa-Singapore Business Forum in Singapore on Tuesday, he said Africa needs justice, not benevolence, in the way international finance is structured. Quote, as the African Union champion on financial institutions, I must be candid. The current global financial architecture remains inequitable for low and middle income countries, he declared. Africa faces an annual financing gap estimated at $1.3 trillion. Infrastructure needs alone run between $181 and $221 billion per year through 2030. And climate financing gap is about $213 billion annually, unquote. President Mahama insisted that the solution lies in building strong financial institutions for the continent. You remember the proposal that we should have our own credit rating agency? What happened to that? Because if you listen to the president, it looks like we need to have our own homegrown institutions that make sure that we borrow at a certain rate, not the one that we are being, fed with by. What happened to that?
Well, like you said, this is a president who is out in the international world, not highlighting sympathy, actually amplifying potential. And I think that there's something for us to leverage on. Now, the whole of African continent is calling on what? The African Continental Free Trade Area and after. And I think that's the game changer. When we come together as a group, about 54 African countries, we have about 1.4 billion people to trade with. When we are able to analyze this based on our comparative advantages, if I know as a Ghanaian we'll be able to get this to feed the Nigerian market with over 200 million people, we trade very well. I think that's what we have. So if you are able to do that as a body, then you can set up your own standard to measure you. You can build infrastructure. But like you and me, today, it is much more easy for you to fly from here to UK, that's London, which is Europe, than to fly to Nigeria. Sometimes if you even want to go to Burkina Faso, you have to go through Abidjan. If you are not careful, the delays, the amount of money even that costs you, language barrier, we have regulations, all those things are like hindrances that we have to look through. If we are able to get these basic infrastructures built on, then we can now leverage on that to be able to set up a standard to measure all of us. We are one, but we've been made to understand that we are different. I keep making this point. 54 African countries, because even if you look at in terms of arable land, I'm not talking of natural resources, about 65% of the world's arable land lies in Africa, yet we are the poor people. If you want to talk about gold, all other things that today the Western world are boasting on to be able to build their economies come from Africa. How come? Sometimes you are forced to believe that they say leadership is the cause, everything else is the effect. But how come we have just made an effect continuously and not being the cause of our own issues? So we think that there is a right call. Africa should begin to look at it. Let's come together as a body to be able to build the right infrastructure to propel businesses.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much, Doc. you want to add on?
Yes, very, very briefly. See, this matter of progress for our country is something that is always very dear to me, and I've always believed that, you know, we have a few problems. We don't have sufficient capital. You see, our system is not structured in a way that you have easy access to capital. There are friends I have who live and work in the UK, and they have really nice cars. Not because they are buying the cars up front. It's because the system is structured in a way that she can pay maybe £1,000 or less a month and she has a Range Rover. So there's not so much, because the system is such a way that you are able to, the financial systems are working. And another problem is we need high paying jobs, and that the way that obviously it's very clear to most people that the best way to drive a lot of high paying jobs is to invest a lot in this digital transformation. Obviously that's the direction the world is going in. If you look at the top 10 the top 10 companies with the biggest net worth, you will see a lot of tech companies there. So as a country, it makes sense that we would want to drive more growth in that arena, so that when young people come out of school, it's not really about finding a job anymore. It's about maybe creating an app, because then you have access to capital, and then we probably can have our own unicorn one day, like in the sense of, you know, WhatsApp, Facebook, and somebody could have created that from their house, essentially. That's the kind of system we want to create. And that's the kind of system that Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia was very deliberate about coming together. And so he spoke about that, the fintech fund that he wanted to do. He also spoke about the credit scoring system, because if you do not have a credible credit scoring system, and that was also going to be built on the Ghana card and everything we had done previously, if you do not have that, it becomes very risky for you to be in a credit-driven economy. So I do think those are things that we should revisit together as a country.
All right. Thank you very much.
Technology is very perfect, but I think that Africa, we are still battling with the bread and butter issues.
Right.
Yeah, Africa.
Kojo, would you want to say thank you to our guests this morning?
Okay.
Yeah. You want to say thank you to them?
Thank you to them.
So, well, let's say a big thank you to Dr. Ekwa Marco, Deputy Communications Director, Bawumia campaign. Mohammed Battaglia, MP, Sisala East, and board member. So we're wrapping this segment, and a little later Mufta will join. But quickly, here is your retirement or your pension finance and security tip for the day. On your screen says that, do you know that your pension is your future? At the National Pensions Regulatory Authority, our mission is simple: to ensure your pension contributions are safe, well managed, and ready for you when you retire. We license trustees and register fund managers and custodian banks. These service providers are carefully approved to ensure your pension contributions are safe and properly accounted for. Now, with NPRA watching over the system, you can rest assured your future is in safe hands. And this is from the NPRA, ensuring retirement income security. Maybe I should let you know another one as well. So do you know Ghana's pension system has 3 powerful tiers, all designed to ensure that you accumulate enough pension benefits for your decent retirement life? We'll be bringing you more of those tips in our subsequent shows as well. But thank you for the segment. Stay. Mufta Nabila comes up, bringing you some exciting fallout from the just ended Joy Invitational Sports. Please stay.
On Saturday, 51 companies assembled at the University of Ghana's stadium. 8 trophies were handed out to various winners. 50 medals were also handed out to various participants in the competition. And today, we have the overall winner of the Joy Sports Invitational Tournament, Piwak Natural Health, and the men's winner in the men's lawn tennis, Lamek Bakabase. Good morning, everyone. I am Mufta Nabila Ablai, and today we are continuing our conversation surrounding the Joy Sports Invitational Tournament that assembled hundreds of people at the University of Ghana Stadium, including the Chief of Staff of the Republic of Ghana, Mr. Julius Debra, the Director General of the National Sports Authority, Yao Ampofankra, musician, Kobana, the family of business mogul Ibrahim Mahama, and many other people were at the venue for this year's Joy Sports Invitational Tournament. But we'll go on the track and on the court to have a conversation. Seated to my immediate left is Faustina Amwa. She's with Piwak Natural Health. Yes, you won the lime and spoon, right?
Yes, please.
Wow. How were you holding the spoon and lime and everything and you were able to cross the lane first? We also have the general manager of Piwak Natural Health, Siamah Mototi, with us. And to my far left is Lamek Bagabakse of McDan Group. He won the men's lawn tennis. Gentlemen and lady, welcome.
Thank you.
How are you? They always say ladies first, so I'm going to start with the lady first. I see your medals around your neck. You might have been excited to cross the line first to win the gold medal in the lime and spoon.
Yes.
Isn't it?
Yes, please.
So how did you do it?
It's said that...
Are you shy?
No, please.
Don't be shy. Talk loud.
Practice make man perfect. So
Yeah.
we were practicing and we were exercising our bodies as well as preparing for the competition. That's how we got the first position.
In fact, in the women's 100 meters, you were third.
Yes, please.
In that event?
Yes,
I'm not surprised that you crossed the line first. Sylvia, as a company, what did you do? Because last year, when you made your debut in the competition, you didn't get these numbers. All of a sudden, you came back 4 gold medals. As a company, what did you do?
Okay, thank you very much for the opportunity. I would say that last year was our first time coming to the Joy Sports Invitational Tournament.
Yeah.
And this year, I told them from day one that last year there have been lapses, and this year we are going to get a first, but nothing less than that. So whenever we go for training, I tell them that know that someone is at your back, someone is chasing you. So whatever you are doing, whichever training we are doing, just take it serious, and there is nothing going to be like we getting either second. No, we are going for first, and that has been a motivation throughout.
Interesting one. Now let me come to Lamek Bagabagse. Yeah. I know McDan Group, people, you are extremely good when it comes to tennis events.
For sure.
I'm not surprised you won the men's lawn tennis. Yeah. But as a company, why are you so strong in events like tennis?
Okay, thanks for having me here. And with tennis, McDan has been helping tennis for like 15 years now.
Yes.
And he has been doing a lot of tournaments which invite a lot of players around the world to come and play.
Yeah, I remember the ITF and WTA events at the Accra Sports Stadium.
Yes, and then me personally, he has helped me play a lot of tournaments around the world.
Oh.
Yeah, so, and I also play for Ghana.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So you're the national team player they were complaining about. I'm not surprised.
Yeah, so this tournament was like a fun game to me.
Okay.
I didn't really...
stress that much?
Yeah, but it was a little bit tough. I had my friends in the tournament, so yeah, it was great.
It was good?
Yeah.
Let me just stay with you. As a group, do you have some specific training sessions when it comes to tennis?
Of course, we do. We have coaches we train with,
okay,
like professional coaches from the tour.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we train with McDan.
The daughters?
Them, yeah.
Yeah.
To come and train us with the daughters as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's an interesting one. Mr. Mototi, you have to consider hiring coaches for lawn tennis as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, we don't have a training center for.
Madam has a big tennis court in his house, so he can take his staff there to go and train.
Okay. Next year we'll consider that.
You will consider that?
Sure.
Okay. Faustina, I'm coming back to you. And in fact, something pretty quick. It almost escaped my mind. Mototi, I'm just going to come back to you on one of your staff who unfortunately got injured. How is he faring? I didn't even ask that. Sorry.
Okay. So, since on Saturday he has been admitted, and yesterday, by the grace of God, a surgery was done to him successfully. So, he's still at the hospital.
He's still recuperating.
Yes.
But at any timelines as to when he would, like, expect him to be discharged?
Okay, for that, the doctor have not disclosed to us when they are going to discharge him, but we are praying that they will leave us soon, since the surgery has been successful.
Oh, okay. Oh, this was an event that got your guy injured. So bad. I was at the hospital yesterday to see him, and in fact, Apex also came along, and they said that they assisted you with the medical bills, isn't it?
Yeah, I think when they were about to have the surgery, we have to make some payment, and after making the payment, they said it have gone to the hospital account, so we have to remake another distance. So in the process of that, they also came to assist.
Wow, that was a good one. I remember their MD, Mr. Alex Ewua, was saying that in as much as we were out there to compete, we are human beings first. And in the time of need of someone like that, your staff, Francis Mensah, it was only right the bank comes in to support. And on behalf of Joy Sports, and then on behalf of the Multimedia Group, I'll just say thank you to ARB Apex Bank for assisting. And thank you to you for coming through to participate and continuing to stay throughout to ensure that your staff is now okay. I think now we can go back to the conversation of what happened on the field. Piwak, you dominated some of these events, like the men's 100 meters. Your guy won the 100 meters. Is it Seth Asamoah, right? If I got it.
Samuel
Asamoah, yes. He won the men's 100 meters. Then this lady won the lemon spoon. Then there was also the unisex race. Like these petty events, why? Were they the things you were focusing on within your group?
Yes, there were things we really focus on. You know, anytime we go for training, these are things we do continuously. Since at the time we're supposed to have the tournament, we couldn't even have it.
Okay.
So we keep on training on it, and we know that no matter what, when we come, we are going to dominate. And it has happened as well.
Yeah, you dominated.
Yes.
Faustina, what was the conversation like within the staff ahead of the competition?
It was like, we are not going to take the last.
Yeah.
We will win everything with the football, but the football didn't go well for us, so we have to focus.
In fact, last year it didn't go well. The Xavier came to accuse me of taking them to Pack 2. I don't know whether Pack 1 was going to do the magic for them.
So we had to focus on the rest of the competition. That's what made us win the 4 medals for us.
The 4 medals.
Yes.
Lamek.
Yeah.
You are now more of an international tennis star.
Yes.
And this standard is probably above you.
No.
because most of the people who came through to participate, I remember watching and in fact, Prince, I beg, drop me the lawn tennis one. Now Shika came up against Lexis Beal and beat Lexis Beal blue-black.
It was a tough match.
It was a tough match. Yeah. But the girl ended up beating Lexis Beal blue-black. I remember that Agrante was teasing him. How do you allow this young girl to beat you like that?
Yeah.
It clearly suggests that there's something that you people are doing within the tennis area. And just to stick with the conversations around tennis, sometimes people often say that it is one of those least financed sports. But least financed sport, people are like, it doesn't get so much support.
Yeah.
But what McDonough has decided to do, and in fact, if I'm to go into my archives, I recall, in fact, how he even bought a car for the Tennis Federation to support their events and all that. Because I've personally covered most of the events that he's organized in terms of tennis at the Accra Sports Stadium. As someone who has gone through that phase, now travel the world playing tennis, talk to me about the experience and how important it is for other people to come into the arena of lawn tennis.
Well, in Ghana, there are no tennis sponsors. The main focus is football, and then
we hear that all the time.
Yeah, boxing. Yeah, so
and maybe athletics sometimes.
The sponsors in tennis are a few, and Magdan is one of them. Yeah, so he just helps us to play like tournaments around Africa. If we do well, we get a chance to go worldwide and then compete around the world. Yeah, so it's been a great journey. He started helping me since I was like 10 years, and then yeah, I want to say a big thank you to him for making me who I am today.
Okay, and to Mototi, any plans you've got for next year's event?
Oh yes, for next year, some of the activities we were not able to partake in,
yeah,
we are going to consider them and then come back strongly as well. This is not just going to be the first, but it's going to continue from time to time.
Yeah, in fact, let me speak to you because you manage staff.
Sure.
I remember one of the companies said that on Monday when they got to the office, there was lots of excitement within the group. Did you see that within your staff? They felt relaxed. They were now, because like they won. They also won as MPA, for instance. They got 3 gold medals. The ARB Apex Bank also got 3 gold medals. They got back to their offices and everyone was happy. They felt relaxed. They felt re-energized to come back. Looking at your staff, did you notice anything like that within them?
Okay, I would say that they are happy, but then because of the incidents that happened,
yes,
we are all sad. In fact, on the park, when the thing happened, I was so sad, and continuing the game was somehow for me. But as a man, you just have to manage yourself and, you know, finish the race. Beginning it doesn't determine that you'll be able to finish well. So finishing well is what will make you to be who you are.
That's a good one. I've just been told that the Magdan daughters are here and they'll be joining us pretty soon for this conversation, which is going to be wrapping up in the next couple of minutes. But for Stina, you are more of a track person. I saw the time you did in the women's 100 meters, which was 15.53. Is this something you would consider doing often, especially for Ghana Athletics to notice? Because if you are a full-time worker who can do 15.35, clearly if there's some kind of support and training, you should be able to drop your time.
Yes, please. I was doing that in JHS and SHS, but since I...
Oh, really?
Yes, please.
No wonder.
Since I completed SHS, I have not been training that much. I always go for jogging sometimes, but not always. Okay. So when the support comes, and I would drop my time.
You would drop your time? Yes. But would you consider doing maybe a personal training, or even maybe calling on Ghana Athletics to come to events like this? In fact, the president of Ghana Athletics was at the stadium. He was there from noon all the way up to 7 p.m. And probably some of these athletes, he saw some of you. It is possible he can go like, okay, I saw this athlete with Piwak, I saw this athlete with Safoda Ventures, the lady who won the 100 meters. I saw this athlete with Samuel Asamoah, who is with Piwak Natural Health. So definitely, they can go like, okay, we were there, we scattered some talents, we give them a call. Would you allow your staff to go? Because they are bringing you money. But Toti, they are bringing you money. Would you? No, if like say the national team needs them, is this something you would consider allowing them to do?
Okay, so if the national team needs them, sometimes I always say that a man will always want to be a successful person, and starting from somewhere wouldn't mean that is where you are ending. Everybody has a passion. So based on the person description, we'll ask him or her if it's really or it's okay to join, we'll release him.
Lamek, how important are events, let's say the Joy Sports Invitation, how important is it to participate in events like this?
You're talking about
the Joy Sports Invitational Tournament, yes.
It's really important to, like, some of, can I get the question again?
I'm saying, how important is it to participate in an event like the Joy Sports Invitational Tournament?
For me, it's very important to be in this tournament. It's actually helped me to broadcast myself, even though the game is not too popular. Yeah, so people get to see me, and then, maybe if they think I'm good, they can help me with whatever talent I have. Yeah.
Okay. The Ashika is here, the girl who molested our very own Lexis Bill, and and she's joining us right now for for us to wrap up the conversation on Joy Sports Invitational Tournament. Basically, I'm looking at. Have you seen yourself there? Yeah. No be small race. That's your staff. One of your staff too.
Yes.
Yeah, that's one of your staff.
Yes.
Yeah. And this is Safoda Ventures. She is Vicencia. She's with Safoda Ventures. In fact, she won the women's penalty shootout. This was in Kulenu FC. In fact, they came with full-blown JC. This is Electricity Company of Ghana. The Electricity Company of Ghana, they won silver in one of the events. So let me just go through the medal table that we had at the Joy Sports Invitational Tournament. So one, as I mentioned earlier, PWAC, they won 4 gold medals at the tournament. MPA, the National Petroleum Authority, they got 3 gold medals. The luckiest, star 712 hash, they also got 3 gold medals. Now, a press conference is currently happening on the Z9 helicopter that crashed, and we'll have to go and pick that feed right now.
You wouldn't have any occurrences, and that is why most of the time we don't see any occurrences in Ghana. Thank you very much for coming, and my technical team are here. They may also add something. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
We have some questions. So you mention your name and then your organization. Then you proceed with your question. We don't have much time, so we do it. Yes, Mauli.
Good morning, my name is Mauli.
Mauli.
From Ghana. So yesterday there was a statement by the acting Minister of Defense. He cited the AI. If you can just briefly tell us what scope of the role you
Yes, so just like I said earlier, but let me quickly correct something here. Yeah, when they issued a statement yesterday, were described as as part of Ghana Civil Aviation. AIB, yes, we are also in the aviation industry, but we are an autonomous and independent organization. We are not part of Ghana Civil Aviation, because we are to investigate what they do. And so we are an autonomous and a separate institution. Now, to answer your question, as I said earlier, we don't investigate military aircrafts. And this incident that happened, like I said, we will only do that when we have an approval by the sector minister. And so this particular one, AIB Ghana is part of the investigation because we've been allowed, we've been invited to use our expertise. And so I have, let me say, tasked my investigating team led by Captain Fojo, a very experienced retired pilot and a high level, very experienced engineer. They, Mr. Engineer Ewusi, they are part of the investigation. And so AIB is fully represented. Thank you.
My name is Paul from JFM. I have a couple of questions to ask. A follow-up to what my colleague asked. I think we wanted to find out the scope, what you will be doing to help in terms of the investigation, if there are specifics that you want to do. And also my second question got to do with the fact that we've seen a lot of accidents happening in the country. I mean, aviation, the last time was in 2012 when an aircraft crashed or overshot the runway, killed a number of people. When this particular report is released, when investigations are done, how will the findings be implemented into tangible safety reforms, and what level of accountability should the public expect from authorities?
Thank you very much. Let me start from the second one. Like you said, when an accident occurs and we go ahead to do our investigations, after the investigation, we do recommendations. And these recommendations, as I said, are not to apportion blames or for any criminal liabilities. We do that so that we correct, so that we don't have any future occurrences. And that is why you don't often see aircraft accidents. They are flying every minute in Ghana. But because of the recommendations that we do, that is why they correct all the mistakes that might have happened. Then that is where we don't have the, we don't incur, or we don't happen to see more accidents happening. And so when we finish with our investigation and we give the recommendation, we follow up to make sure that they implement it. Because the reason why we do the investigation is to correct whatever might have happened. And so we follow religiously to make sure that these things are implemented for next safety. Then the other question is about the scope. Normally, investigation, you wouldn't, like I told you, we have our standards that we follow. And the protocols and the standard we follow, you know, we use them when we start the investigation. We will not be able to say, oh, we do this, we do this. So we are using those protocols and the standard to do the investigation. So we will not be able to tell you that this is the scope.
My second question also, I have about 3 questions, but if time permits, then I'll ask all. My second question got to do with the fact that even though the aircraft which was deployed, the Z9 that you've been invited to help with the investigation, it belongs to the Ghana Armed Forces and you don't have any oversight with regards to that. Do you think that there were some issues? I mean, based on your preliminary investigations, have you identified some factors that may have contributed to this? Because we've seen some journalists speculating, some even attributing it to the strike.
I like the word speculating. We are professionals. We don't speculate. What we do is that when there's an occurrence, we go to the field. We use evidence-based. Like I told you how we collect. We first collect the factual information. Based on that, we verify the data we have. And it is only after then that we will know what happened. And so we don't speculate. We don't know what happened. It is an accident. And so we go in as investigators to investigate and come out with a finding. But for now, we don't have any reason, or we don't have any information about what happened.
Have there ever been a time that when you want to implement some of the recommendations from various reports that you had issues with regards to our aviation sector in the country, maybe logistical issues or certain things prevented us from implementing certain policies?
No, we haven't had any.
Thank you. Any more?
My name is Josh Green, I work at TV3. So plans are far advanced in acquiring Ghana's national airline after several failed attempts. And if you're supposed to have a meeting with the task force, which has Dr. Joyce Mukhtar as one of the members, how will the conversation go like?
Yes, so if I got your question well, you want to know what? Come again with the question.
Okay, so plans are far advanced in,
yes.
So there's a task force that has been instituted. Joyce Mukhtar is one of the members. I'm saying if you're supposed to have a meeting with the task force, what would the direction be like for your conversation?
For that one, respectfully, we have a very competent group that is tasked to do this job. And so they will do the job very well for us. we don't have any reason to doubt anything. So we think that they will do the job very well.
Because I'm asking this because I don't think we've ever had an accident. Ghana Airways, we've never had any accident before. So if we want to go on that trajectory.
Yeah, so that's what I told you. We don't ask them because we do work behind. And we do safety protocol very well. That's why we don't have those accidents. Yes.
We taking the last questions because...
Oh, no. No, allow.
Okay.
Please, can you introduce yourself?
Okay, my name is Martin. I work for Daily Graphic. After the Obuasi accident,
Commissioner JMK Wambati addressing the media about the Z9 helicopter crash that happened on August 6th, where 2 cabinet ministers and 6 others died tragically within the Adansi area. A committee has been set up to investigate what happened. As he mentioned, currently they do not know what exactly transpired before the incident happened. However, they've got a very competent group, a very competent team that has been put together to investigate. And when they are ready, the findings definitely will be made public, and every single person will get to know what transpired before those lives were lost in the line of service to Mother Ghana. Now let's come back to the studio. As I mentioned, the daughters of Dr. Nadia Macaulay, the 2 daughters, they met each other in the final of the women's lawn tennis at the Joy Sports Invitational Tournament. The younger sister beat the senior sister. Why did you beat your senior sister?
I just had to
Show her some small level.
Yes, just to, because she's always on top, so I have to just give her a little bit of my skills.
but talk to me, preparation-wise, how was it like for you people ahead of the Joy Sports Invitational Tournament? No, I'm asking you this very specific question, so bring the mic to yourself.
We trained usually, like we have school and stuff as well, so we had to train mainly on the weekends or any free time we had. Like we worked on our stamina because we hadn't played in a long time. Sure. So we just took our time to just also mentally prepare, just so we are calmer on the court and everything.
Okay, pass the mic on to you. How did you feel when your younger sister beat you?
I mean, initially, I was like, why did I let her beat me? But then at the same time, like, she's my little sister, so you want her to be better than you. So it was...
And moreover, the trophy was coming to you.
It's literally the same thing.
How important was it for you people to participate in the Joy Sports Invitational Tournament?
So majority of our lives have been tennis. We've been playing tennis for a really long time. We used to play professional lawn tennis. So just having a chance to come back to the game felt really nice. Like me, I do law, so it's hard to manage the both of them. But having a chance to just train a little bit and play was really nice.
You have a huge court in your house, a huge tennis court in your house. I've had the privilege of being in your father's house, and I've seen the huge court there. Is that where you train?
Yes, please. That's where we train most of the time.
Oh, okay. Now, Shika, you are considered more of a national star. You caught our very own Lexis Bill and you taught him a lesson. Why did you do that to him?
Because last year, he taught me a lesson. So I had to make sure this year I didn't give him the chance this time, because it would have been a problem.
Okay, so talk to me the future prospects of Macaulay's sisters for tennis. Future prospects, like in terms of your goals for tennis. Is this something you would want to do professionally, or it is something you just want to do as a pastime?
Well, it's something that we would like to do professionally when we are more established, like when we are older, like we have our education, like
Venice and Serena?
Yes, so when we are older and we are more
stabilized,
yes, in life, then we can focus on this hobby that we have right now.
Is this something your dad, I know your dad is a tennis fan, is this something he deliberately asked you to do? Or you got into tennis because you saw him playing tennis? Is this something you could do?
So we got into tennis because of him. So he brought the love to the game to the house, and we also fell in love with it. So it's like both of them. He introduced them. We're like, yeah, we like it. So.
And so you want to be Ghana's very own Serena Williams and Venus Williams?
Yes.
And in fact, Serena Williams is a younger to Venus. Serena had a better career than Venus. So. Okay, so I'm just going to wrap up the conversation because we've been on air for nearly more than 30 minutes. Just to wrap up the conversation with the two of you on this. The Joy Sports Invitational Tournament, Magdan Group, has always been around. They've always competed. This year we had 51 companies. Did you consider that a tough competition for you girls? Or the other people, because they don't know anything about tennis, you were just beating them blue-black?
I mean, a little bit. But we expected a huge turnout, and we just made sure we were ready for the number of people that would come. Because we went last year and we saw how it was, so we decided to prepare adequately this time. Yeah.
Okay, now?
Well, same thing.
You're all now, sorry.
Yes, same thing. Like last year, we experienced it, so this year we're more ready for like the competition. Like, and it wasn't hot this time around, so it was easier to.
Yeah, the weather was cool.
Yes. So it was we enjoyed ourselves. Everybody played well. Not every match was easy, but we had fun and it was very fun. You had fun. You will ask more people to come next year? Yes, most definitely.
Okay. We're signing out the conversation, but Lamek, you had spoken earlier about how, as a national star, though it was a bit tough, you felt that, you had your way around it. Would you encourage people, or why should people also come and participate in the Joy Sports Invitational Tournament?
Well, I think the Joy FM Sports games really, this is my first time playing it. And then I feel like it helps people showcase their talent, and then it helps people like get on the map. Like, people see them, and then
like they're seeing you right now.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, Sylvia, any final words you would want to share, and why should people patronize Joy Sports Invitational Tournament?
Okay, so for the Joy Sports Invitational Tournament, it's one of a great one, and people, exercise is good to the body, and we need to, it has to be part of us. That will help us. So they patronizing it, I think, is going to help them as individuals, and it's going to help them as a group as well, because you could see that during the exercising, you see a lot of people have not been exercising, but during that time, everybody pay attention to that. So that will be good to the body.
Christina, any final comments you would want to share before we leave the studio?
Okay, I just want to say thank you, a very big thank you to Joy Sports for giving us the opportunity to showcase our talent. Thank you.
Okay. Then Na and then the two Nas, okay. Na Nyama and Nashika, okay.
I would just want to thank Joy News for giving us the platform, because I feel like this tournament is a way to showcase your talent and your business, because when you win, you put your company in the news, on the map. So we are very grateful to Joy News for the opportunity.
Okay.
Yes. Also thank you to Joy News for this opportunity, because it also helps with networking. You meet a lot of people, your businesses, you meet other businesses, and you yourself, health-wise, is very healthy for everybody to be working out and everything. So it was a very good and fun experience for everybody.
Okay. It was good and fun, and hopefully next year we'll be assembling again for the Joy Sports Invitational Tournament. This was a football final, which was won by Guel PLC. They defeated SIC General PLC 3-2 on penalties to win the Joy Sports Invitational Football Competition. But this is a winner of the women's tennis, runner-up, women's lawn tennis, right? Women's lawn tennis, runner-up, sister versus sister, younger sister, big senior sister. Faustina won the women's lime and spoon, and she was third in the women's 100 meters. Xavier Mototi is the general manager of PIWAC, Natural Health, and then Lamek Bagabase is the men's lawn tennis champion. He's also with the McDan Group. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for coming. This is our continued conversation on the Joy Sports Invitational Tournament, which happened at the University of Ghana Sports Stadium on Saturday. Continue to enjoy the rest of our programs here on the Joy News channel.
Hello there, welcome back. This is the AM show. Time now for our big stories. Now, recovering the proceeds of crime and tainted property, we take a look at Yoko's mandate, especially focusing on the phenomenon of stolen vehicles, as Interpol flags Ghana as a major destination for this notorious cartel. We have Yoko here to tell us what we need to know and also answer some questions. And joining us this morning in the studio is Leo Anthony Siamah, Head Legal Prosecution. You find him Head Legal and Prosecution, and you find him at Yoko. Leo, which one do you like to be called, Leo or Anthony? Leo is fine. Thank you for joining us. It's been a very busy period for you since that report came up. I see that you've been very vocal and trying to caution people and also help people understand your mandate. But let us understand generally what the situation gets like and what exactly you're dealing with. Maybe the numbers, and from which year did you start all this checking in?
Good morning to all listeners out there. We are always grateful to have opportunities like this to speak on these platforms to disseminate information that we've gathered in the course of our investigations, as is provided in our enabling instruments. That's the Economic and Organized Crime Act of 2010, Act 804. We have always known or realized that stolen vehicles have been in Ghana. However, this whole operations or journey started somewhere in 2022, where in collaboration with our foreign partners, particularly the FBI and the Royal Mounted Canadian Police, we initiated attempts to recover some of these vehicles. Initially, they shared with us intelligence report containing about 300 vehicles, a database of about 300 vehicles that we suspected to be stolen. Nigeria has a similar operation that is going on in terms of the recovery. So somewhere around ending of the year 2022, we embarked on the first major operation to recover these vehicles. The operation itself was a huge success as compared to the other operations that have been held across the West African coast and concerning the two major countries, that's Ghana and Nigeria. We recovered about between 60 and 66 vehicles that particular day, which was above let me say, the minimum or the maximum that we had set, because operationally we thought we would recover 15, 16 cars on that particular day, but we turned up getting over 60. And investigations continued thereafter. So again, in line with Yoko's mandate to recover the proceeds of crime, anytime we have a person of interest concerning an active investigation, we also run what we call parallel financial investigations, which means that we commence the tracing and tracking of assets belonging to that person immediately upon the commencement of the investigation. We do not want to wait until the person is convicted 2-3 years after a case is initiated to commence that. The danger is that by the time that we start tracing after a conviction 2-3 years after a case is initiated, a person may dissipate or alienate the properties or the assets. So in line with this, we started also recovering cars, mostly vehicles or luxury vehicles when people come in our purview when it comes to investigations. Now, what we noticed is that offhand, I would say 70 to 80% of the vehicles that we retrieved in such cases as well turned up to be stolen. And these vehicles were not or did not even form part of the original 300 list. So that told us, since then we have recovered an additional, let's say between 30 to 45 vehicles, taking the number well over 100 vehicles since 2022. So almost immediately we came to the realization that we have a bigger problem than we are dealing with. So since then we have taken steps in line with our mandate to disseminate these information that we have gathered in our investigations and let the general public know what exactly we are dealing with.
As of today, now you're giving us the fair idea since 2022, but as of today, since you started this current operation, how many cars have you recovered, I should say, recovered? We
have retrieved, I believe, in total, roughly between 100 and 115, 120 vehicles.
Okay.
In our custody. We are taking steps, especially the vehicles that are coming from Canada and the US. We are taking steps to repatriate the vehicles in line with a formal request by the victims in the US. So what happens is that when the vehicles are stolen, the victims, when they find out about it in terms of the destination of the vehicle, they make formal requests through our foreign partners, the FBI and the Royal Mounted Police of Canada, for their vehicles. In certain cases, because the cars are registered under insurance programs there, the insurance pays off the owners or the victims, and then the insurance company assumes the liability or takes up the position as the victims, more or less. So they also make requests, and then we go to court through a civil process, and then we secure orders for the vehicles to be repatriated. In the case of the Canadians, the individuals pay for the repatriation of the vehicles themselves. So that's a double cost on such individuals. With the US, they have some support from their government in repatriating the vehicles.
Interesting. But how would I know that I am buying a stolen vehicle?
That's a very good question. So we have been doing this for the past 3 years now. If you take the date from 2022, so we have been able to gather some statistics or some facts that we generally share with the public when we are engaged on platforms like this. Now, there are a lot of red flags that come to mind when you are dealing with stolen vehicles. First of all, we have put out a list containing some of the vehicles that are prone to theft. We have named the Honda CR-V, which on our list is the highest number in terms of the vehicles that are being stolen. We have mentioned the Dodge Ram. We have mentioned the Ford F-150. We have mentioned the Range Rover. But in addition to that, you are also looking at the BMW X7 and X8 series. You are looking at the Mercedes, all those luxury brand of vehicles. And this is actually because these vehicles have a high-end value. If you look at the fact that a person who goes to steal this spends or expends almost no resources in getting these vehicles and selling them, it's a lucrative business. There's also a very high demand for the vehicles. This is one of the problems. And now, in terms of the other red flags, when you are purchasing such a vehicle and you question or you try to ask a lot of questions pertaining to the transaction history of the vehicle and you are getting an evasive seller, that should be a problem. That should be a red flag for you to quickly identify. Secondly, if you are requesting for the identity verification in terms of a valid identification for a seller and the person is withholding such information, that should also be a red flag. If you are inspecting documentation, for instance, a title or custom declaration documents, and you realize that VIN numbers are altered, tampered with, or in some cases, they are even deleted or try to alter them, these are also red flags. When you are doing a physical inspection of the vehicle as well, and you see vehicles, for instance, such as those without, how do you call them? The rear view mirror, which is where the GPS tracking device is actually kept. That should be a red flag. Okay. In some instances, you realize that the VIN number as contained in the vehicle, it comes on the vehicle, there are about 2 or 3 locations in the vehicle that you can inspect VIN numbers. There's one, I think there's one on the dashboard, there's one on the engine area, there's one around the seatbelt side. If those 3 VIN numbers are not consistent with each other, that should also be a red flag for you. Now, the cost of the vehicle is also imperative. If you look at the market value of a vehicle, which is about 400,000, 500,000 on the market, and someone is offering to sell it to you for 100,000, that should obviously be a red flag. So some of these things are very important for us to look at. Then also we have what do you call them?
This 400,000 you quoted is in dollars or cedis?
Dollars, cedis, whichever one, depending on the brand of the vehicle. If it's the extra luxury car, what I personally call the extra luxury cars, like a Maybach or
Lamborghini, maybe.
Yes, maybe a Lamborghini, maybe, and market price is $500,000, and somebody's offering it to you for $100,000. Obviously, that should be a major red flag for you.
Interesting.
I mean, you're just telling us how you can avoid getting into such troubles, but one can really be very careful, right? Some people have mastered the craft, and you can be so aware, but you just can make that mistake. And when you do, what do you do?
So first of all, if something like that happens, you should contact the authorities.
Which one of the authorities?
YOCO, Interpol, the primary authorities. You can. You also have to ensure that you are giving us details of the vehicle, details of the person you are conducting the transaction with, and at that point you stop the transaction. I'll take this opportunity to advise the public to take their time when they are negotiating some of these transactions, because time is of the essence. There's one particular bizarre case of a vehicle that was stolen, but at the time the purchaser was buying it, the status of the vehicle had not been declared as stolen. That was because the owner of the vehicle parked the vehicle at I think it was an airport, traveled to another state in the US for holidays, returned about a month, 3 weeks to a month and a half, only to find out that the vehicle was stolen. Then made a police report. By that time, the vehicle was able to be brought here, went through our customs and everything, again, with some coalition from authorities, both from there and here, and the car was sold to an innocent person. But later on, when the original victim or the owner made a report, the car status changed. So yes, I do admit that there are certain lapses in terms of the mechanisms that should check this phenomenon.
Okay. You mentioned the CRV as one of the common or the most popular ones among these. Does it raise any question about the brand, or is it some sort of a cartel? And so when they identify a particular brand, they stick to it, they are able to sell these ones because there's a ready market for it, or they have a cartel that makes it easy to sell?
Well, it's a combination of both. It's a combination of both. I believe with our investigations, you realize that some vehicles are easier to steal as compared to others. Because if you look at the Ford F-150, for instance, there are a couple of them that we recovered during our process that have bullet holes in them. So it tells you that there was some violence in trying to forcefully take the vehicle. Now, if you look at the CRV, for instance, that is, I've been told by my officers in the office, especially those with the mechanics, that they come with certain features. The Touring comes with a less consumption in terms of fuel. So if you are going to buy a vehicle in Ghana with all our issues, that's one of the vehicles you should be looking at. And it comes with a certain level of luxury as well. So there's a high demand. The industry is also very lucrative for it. So these are some of the factors. And again, like you suggested, there are cartels there that specialize in this. And because they realize that there's a lucrative market and there's a high demand for it, they go for those.
How easy or difficult is it for YOCO to identify these cartels?
Very difficult. It's very difficult. You are dealing with forged documents. You are dealing with falsification of documents, alterations, and in most of these cases, the people are almost faceless. Or a person walks up to a garage, buys a vehicle, the garage owner or the dealer is unable to ascertain who they were dealing with or buying the car from. So it makes it difficult. However, in collaboration with our partners, we are beginning to find our feet in terms of what these cartels look like. So there are ongoing prosecutions over there, and eventually it will boil down here because our laws are clear. Under Section 147 of Act 29, which is the criminal code, dishonestly receiving is a criminal offense.
But what if the person doesn't know that it's stolen? How would that be dishonestly receiving?
Yes, I was hoping you come to that. It will amount to dishonestly receiving if you do not take the steps to conduct the necessary due diligence that is important for you to undertake before buying a vehicle. Because you cannot say that because, for instance, I've heard some dealers and some commentary on the fact that, but I paid customs duty. the car came through customs. No, it doesn't work like that. You cannot, for instance, say, and I'm sorry I'm having to use this kind of comparison, but if a baby is stolen from a mother in a hospital, you don't say because you went to the social welfare and you were able to complete an adoption, the baby is yours. It doesn't work that way. The interest in the property still belongs to the original owner, irrespective of the documentation that covers the vehicle if it ultimately gets to you. That's why there's an obligation on you by law to exhaust all the due diligence procedures that you can. So you look at the red flags, you exhaust them. Once you exhaust the red flags, then you move on to the others. So for instance, there are a couple of sites that allow you to check history of vehicles. I think there's Carfax, there's the National Insurance Crime Bureau from the US. You can check a vehicle transaction history, the VIN number to check the status, even though those ones are not comprehensive. However, when you come to Interpol or you go to Yoko, we have the stolen motor vehicle, SMV database or platform, where we are able to ascertain whether or not a vehicle has been stolen. So the due diligence obligation is on you, because there's a legal maxim that nemo-dat, which means that
you can't give what you don't have.
You can't give what you don't have. So if a thief takes a vehicle and transfers to you, nothing comes to you.
So you talk about forged to document and all of that. Between the origin, the home where the vehicles will come from, and here where the final consumer may be, where does the forging of the documents happen most?
It comes from both sides. It comes from, you need some, you need a number of documents to be able to transfer a vehicle here. And this is where we also believe that the cartels have connections or contacts at the ports outside as well as having ports here. Because you should not be able to transfer such vehicles with inadequate documentation here. So that points out to the fact that there's some form of collusion there as well. So I'm not going to put the blame all on us here and say that our customs or our ports authorities are culpable in this alone. No, it's a dual problem.
So there's a little over 100 vehicles that you've been able to retrieve. Have you been able to discover the faces behind it? Or is it also quite difficult?
That is very difficult, especially because these crimes are committed in the US. But as and when we receive updates as to what has gone on in one particular case, quite recently someone was convicted there and is serving jail time for the theft of a vehicle.
So for us here in Ghana, if we retrieve a car from you, the maximum is that you're taking the car back, or if there's any payment that the person is supposed to pay, they will, but they don't particularly, it's not like criminal. You don't subject the person through criminal procedure or what?
It is a criminal act. Dishonestly receiving, and I'm going to explain that. Our courts in several decisions have expanded or made us know that even the mere possession of such an asset amounts to dishonestly receiving. And dishonestly receiving is a predicate offense for money laundering. So immediately you are looking at jail time yourself. That's if you don't conduct your due diligence. But if you conduct your due diligence and it comes up, for example, the example I just gave about the man that traveled and his car was shipped and it took a time, with that one, the person went to Interpol. The car at the time did not have the status of stolen. So with someone like that, he can go with clean hands, and obviously we cannot take someone like that to court and charge the person criminally. But for you, the person that does not exhaust that arm of the due diligence, you are prone to a criminal action in terms of you being prosecuted. In addition to that, you lose your money. If you have insured that car, for instance, under a comprehensive insurance policy, the insurance companies are not going to pay. They're going to pay. And then you also do not have enough for you to go to court and secure and be able to have a cause of action against the person who sold such a vehicle to you, because the two of you are more or less colluding to commit a crime.
But we are trying to educate people who are yet to buy cars, right? Where do you have a lot of these stolen cars being sold through? Person to person or auction sites?
Both. You cannot pinpoint one area and say, no, we are unable to say that. Now, what we have realized is that The garages are culpable, individual car dealers are culpable, person to person, because a person can buy a car from a dealership, well, use the car for a couple of years, 1 year, and say, well, I'm not interested in anymore, and sell it to another person. It's still the same thing. It's not even about the destination or the source or in terms of where the car is being sold. The most important thing here is that the car is stolen. And once the car is stolen, it doesn't matter how it came through, where it came from, where it was sold from. The mandate of the Economic and Organized Crime Office is to retrieve that vehicle.
Interesting. I've been trying to check up on a vehicle here just to see what, but are there free sites for one to check?
Yes, Carfax is a free site. The NIBC is also a free site. NICB is also a free site. However, these are not comprehensive sites. These are not comprehensive sites. If you want a comprehensive site, that's what I mentioned, the Interpol website, or you can go to their office or come to the UCO office. Look, again, I was saying this on another platform the other day. It's actually better for you to expend maybe 50 cedis, 100 cedis checking the status of a vehicle than going through a transaction, paying thousands of Ghanaian cedis, and then ultimately losing the car because you have no cause of action because of your failure to conduct due diligence.
Let's open up the conversation a bit, getting into your mandate, because in this conversation we've heard so much about tainted property, proceeds from a crime. Let us understand what IYOCO does with that and what is tainted property. What the person watching us today wants to understand what that is and how you even, shall I use, claim, reclaim, recover, retrieve.
Okay. So the IYOCO mandate is spelled under sections 3 and 4, which contain the objectives of the office as well as the functions. And under it briefly or basically says that the office is set up to investigate, detect, and prevent organized crime, economic and organized crime, and the authority of the Attorney General of the Republic of Ghana prosecute these offenses, and then generally to facilitate the confiscation of proceeds of crime. Now, proceeds of crime are any asset that a person gets for himself or buys or purchases or comes into contact with in terms of ownership after that person has committed an unlawful act and or a serious offense. The IYOCO Act also defines a serious offense under Section 74 as any offense that carries a minimum penalty of 12 months and above. That's where it underlines the predicate offense or the baseline offense for the money laundering. So our mandate is to ensure that any person who commits such an offense and has gained an asset, whether economic or financial, has to forfeit that asset via the forfeiture route or confiscation to the state.
So how do you determine if the property that I have is tainted or is proceeds from a crime? Maybe I have a python that's vomiting money. Will that be proceeds of crime or tainted?
Well, we don't, IYOCO doesn't dabble in a metaphysical spiritual matters. We deal with hard facts. So if a person is under investigation for any criminal offense, what we do, like I mentioned, is we conduct what we call parallel financial investigations.
Please say that again.
Parallel financial investigations.
Okay.
That means we are tracing the asset. Basically, what that means is that we are conducting asset tracing of the properties. So if we subject your bank analysis to scrutiny and analysis, we will be able to find out that if you took, say, 50 million from the Ghanaian state or from 50 million from any criminal enterprise, we should be able to tell in terms of the transaction history where that money went. So if we see a withdrawal of about 3 million Ghana cedis and it translates into a purchase of let's say a Lamborghini for a similar amount, reasonably, we should infer that it's the proceeds of that 50 million. Part of the proceeds from that 50 million is what you used to purchase the car. So that's how we trace, one way of tracing assets. At times, tracing the assets may be difficult in terms of the complexities involved in the ownership structures that are around in the country. Aside that, we also have we also have what we call I've spoken about the parallel financial crime investigations. And then at times we mostly rely on informants to come and tell us. So they come and tell, because this is very, very important because of the ownership structures that I was talking about. A person can take money from the state, buy properties in the name of his relatives and things. And because there's no financial documentation in terms of the transaction, it's difficult for us to be able to trace. So we deal with informants, we use intelligence, we gather intelligence over the course of the investigations, and some of these things come up, and then we pursue. So if we realize that such a person gives money to this relative, then we can make a reasonable inference.
Okay.
From that.
In this investigation, the duty will lie on you, or you can compel me to explain.
Yes, we can compel you to explain, and we have a section 19 of the Yoko Act that gives the executive director of the Economic and Organized Crime Office powers to invite you to the office to answer to documents or investigations that we are conducting. So we give you a chance to come forward and then make our inquiries.
So is that what you applied in the current circumstance, one that I don't want to mention names, but you know?
Obviously, yes. Again, we at Yoko try and exhibiting or pursuing our professionalism not to make investigations about individuals for it to look like it's a witch hunt. We go fairly. So there's a pragmatic step in terms of the investigations that we take. One of the first points of call is to write a letter to you, inviting you to come and speak to matters under Section 19. Because that's the power that enables the executive director to invite you to come and speak to matters. If that fails, most of the time we do follow-up calls, because most of the time investigations at that point would have generated the phone numbers or contact details of the person of interest. When we exhaust that as well, then we explore other options. If it's an arrest, then we go for it.
So
but when it comes to invite, we hear about inhumane conditions you put these people through. If you've invited someone, a person of interest, why put him or her through inhumane treatment?
I want to place on record right here at this point that nobody or no one who has ever come to Yoko can complain about being treated inhumanely. Like I said, one of our ideals is the professionalism that we exhibit, because you are also dealing with certain high-profile individuals. So that kind of accusations cannot be leveled or proved against an entity like the Economic and Organized Crime Office. What happens is that when granting bail or dealing with an arrested person, you grant the bail amount commensurate with the offense that has been created or committed. So if a person steals an amount of, again, 50 million Ghana cedis, we cannot obviously go and give the person 500 cedi bail or 50,000 cedi bail, because if the person absconds, then we have a problem. So the bail amount is always given. And most of the lawyers that are defense lawyers that bring these people know, if the bail sums are too high, they have the option of going to court to have it reviewed. And nobody in recent times has done that. They've all come forward and we have negotiated bail terms. When I say negotiated bail terms, we grant the bail, they come, bring their sureties, we do our surety inspections, we look at where the sureties live, ensure that the person of interest that the surety is coming to bail would be able to make that person available when we require the person for further investigations. So it's not like we are abusing anybody's rights or we are subjecting people to inhumane treatment. I've even heard commentary that the Yoko cells is one of the most comfortable to actually be in.
Really?
So, yes.
That's not a story.
Can you confirm it? Is it?
I can't confirm. I have seen other cells. I have seen the other cells that in this country. I've seen our cells. And I can tell you, if you've ever had the chance of talking to anybody who has had the chance of being in our cells and being in the cells of other institutions, you can ask them where they prefer.
If you're inviting me, why put me in a cell?
No. So let me distinguish between the two. When we invite you and you come, that's one thing. We don't necessarily have to arrest a person when we are conducting investigations. It depends on the nature of the crime, and it's determined on a case-by-case basis. If a person is invited to come and speak to matters, and the person comes and provides what we need to further our investigations, there's no need arresting the person. However, if the nature of the offense is such that we have conducted investigations and we have decided or realized that this case is one that has to go to court, then we have to continue with the process. So we arrest and then grant bail. It is then up to you, the person of interest, with collaboration with the lawyers, as the case may be, to meet the bill conditions. If you're unable to meet the bill conditions, the law enables us to restrict your movement until that is done.
Okay. But when you're setting bail terms, what do you consider? Because if you arrest me, for example, and you say, bring 3 grounded properties, I mean, what's the motivation behind that? Well, that you expected I should have 3 properties in my name?
Okay, we never tell persons of interest to bring 3 properties. Okay. It's not done that way. And the reason being that we are already under the impression, especially with the cases that we investigate, that you have taken the state's assets or the state's money and you have purchased those assets. Indirectly or directly or indirectly, those assets already belong to the state. So we will not ever ask you to use your assets or bring 3 assets. No. What we want to do, or what we try to do, is that when the sureties are coming forward to stand in as sureties for the prospective or the person of interest, we want to know where the sureties live. We want to know that the surety is a person of means, especially in relating to the amount of the bill term set. Because the idea is that if the person becomes a flight risk and the person absconds from the jurisdiction and we can no longer find the person to continue our investigations, we will have to fall on someone to pay that 50 million in terms of the bill conditions. And we do what we call a streetment. So we street the bond on the sureties. So that's why it's important for us to know that, well, this person who is standing as surety for a person of interest has the means to pay the amount. So when we ask you to bring your documents or land documents, we want to see, how do you call them? We want to see, for instance, proof of ownership, that you actually own the property you are claiming. We will not take the chances of just you coming, signing documents and going, and then we will later realize that you live in a rented apartment and face difficulties in streeting the bond.
So you're saying it's not true that you asked, for example, is new. So you asked Paul Adomotri to produce properties in his own name.
Yoko has not been investigating Paul Adomotri, as far as I'm concerned. That's the office of the special prosecutor. We will not.
That's the SP. It's true.
Okay. So two questions for you. We'll talk about bail variations. So when a person is, if you grant a person the bail bond and it's too much, they apply to court for the variation. Does the Yoko mandate, do you have the power to vary?
Yes.
You have the power to vary?
Yes.
Right, okay. And is this case by case, or the Act as well provides the category in which you can, is there any form of discretion at all?
Well, I would not call it discretion necessarily. We are guided by the law. If a person of interest is arrested and investigations are ongoing, and we grant bail terms, and the person is unable to meet it on a case-by-case basis, we look at certain factors that we may use in reviewing it. Again, we are not in the habit of wanting to unnecessarily detain people, because look, when the truth is, when you detain such a person, you have to feed him, you have to look after him. And some of these people, because of the shame and everything, they are suicide risk. So that's another serious obligation on us. So we do our best to ensure that there's some fairness in the process. So we may review the bail conditions depending on a couple of factors. If we're able to, for instance, trace more assets that you have used these stolen funds to get, that would be a factor, because the most important thing for us is to recover the proceeds of crime. So once we are recovering those, it becomes one of the things that we look at if we have to review the bail condition.
Okay, so the person decides to want to renegotiate with the Yoko, or they either apply to court for the variation. Yes. It's very dependent on the person and what they want to do. Or it is when they have engaged you and you say, no, I have a firm belief on this bail bond and how much it is the tune to, and so I'm not varying it. Then they proceed to court.
Again, it's on a case-by-case basis. We can grant the bail. You would see it firsthand and be like, well, I'm not comfortable with it, or we are not comfortable with it. We think it's absurd. You go to court. We do our battles in court, see what the court says, if the court reviews. And there are certain instances where we've actually gone to court on reviews, and the court has rather enhanced it. Yes, we've had occasions like that. So it's again, on a case-by-case basis, depending on what the person of interest and his lawyers think.
But what will influence the court's decision in either to increase it or to reduce the bill?
The nature of the offense is very important. Like I'm saying, the nature of the offense, the person being a flight risk. A flight risk means that the person has the capabilities of absconding and not coming. So the court also considers all these. And the provisions that regulate bail are contained in Act 30, the Criminal and Other Offences Procedure Act of 1960. So in the Section 96, it tells you what you must look at. The person must be, before you grant bail, you must ensure that the person is not a flight risk. The person will appear anytime they are needed for further investigations or pursuing the court process. The person has a place of abode. All those factors are very important. So the court will take into consideration all of these things before reviewing the bill. At times when the court is not satisfied with these conditions, they rather enhance it.
What do you say to people who hear that, well, a person is not supposed to be kept beyond 48 hours after bail, and yet maybe they see that people are still in custody? What do you say to them? Is it that they don't want to go home? Is it that they've not gone to court to vary the bail? What exactly accounts for that?
I believe that from our position, the constitutional provisions are clear. When you arrest a person, if you are not going to proceed to court with the person, you release the person conditionally or unconditionally on terms. And if we grant you terms, that's more or less a release. It is up to you to meet the bail conditions for us to effect the release.
At the time that a person has not met the bail conditions, do you then now proceed to court if you're going to keep them beyond the 48 hours?
We don't. Once we have granted the bail, we have dispensed with our duties. Yes, I know there's a school of thought that believes that it should not be so. And I think there are a couple of cases at the Supreme Court now that are challenging that. So we'll see how the Lords up there...
the theory that says that, well, yes, after 48 hours, if the person has not met the bail condition, you should proceed to court.
No, we should release them.
You should release them.
Proceed to court. But we have a different interpretation because
so the laws are not clear on that side of it.
I don't think the laws are not clear. I think the laws are very clear. You either release the person conditionally or unconditionally on terms. So if we release you on terms, we are releasing you on terms, and we've given you the terms under which you should be released. You should be released. The things that you have to do. So for instance, we even add that we ensure the surety should ensure that you report a number of times in a week or something like that. So.
Well, if the Supreme Court decides to become law, so that will be the benchmark on which... Then
well, that binds us all.
What's the latest on Siamah to me?
Well, that's an active investigation. It's still ongoing, so I'm unable to give details, further details of ongoing investigations as it may prejudice our other line of inquiries.
Are you dealing with cybercrime, and is it quite prevalent currently?
Yes. Very, very important. Cybercrime is one of, if not the biggest of our problems now, is probably the fastest growing. Because now, the point too is, every criminal activity that goes on now has an element of cybercrime in it. Because you take someone's phone, you conduct a forensic analysis of it, or extractions, you realize there are trails in terms of the crime itself. So cybercrime is a big deal. It's a big deal. We are trying to also do some education on that at another platform. We'll take the opportunity to let the public know what we have found as well and the things to look out for, just as we are doing with the stolen vehicle.
Some days ago, I learned a new term called hawala. Have you heard about it?
Yes.
It's a slang term in you've heard about it.
Yes.
Is it a challenge? Are you dealing? Is this something that you're faced with?
Yes, this is actually not a new phenomenon. Hawala has been there. Well, I have known about hawala for more than 10.
Good for
years.
you because of your work.
Yes, because of my work, obviously. But it's a system of the transfer of money that the perpetrators try to avoid. First of all, bank transactions, avoid taxes, and to ensure that there is no audit trail in terms of the transfers that they conduct. So what will usually happen is that a person is resident in another jurisdiction, a call is, if I want to send money, a call is placed, my person goes to the person there, the other dealer there, takes the money from them, I pay the dealer's partner here. So there's no formal trace.
That must be hard for you if you have to trace crime.
Very, very, very hard. Very, very, very hard. So again, these are some of the things that we'll be making public in our subsequent engagements.
What legal framework guides your effort to recover proceeds of crime?
Okay. So again, Enabling Instrument Act 804, which is the Economic and Organized Crime Act, the Anti-Money Laundering Act of 2020, Act 1044, Act 30 actually, 1960. Restitution, there's a provision in Act 30 that talks about restitution. Now, this is very important because in the conduct of our investigations, we also find properties or assets that belong to persons of interest. And most, in some of the cases, these assets were acquired before the criminal offense was committed. However, in line with restitution, right, if we are able to or we are unable to find any assets in the person's name and the person is convicted of these criminal offenses, automatically the court will make an order for restitution. So a certain amount of money has to be paid for the crime that the person has committed. So we fall on some of these properties that we have identified during the investigative process, even though they may not necessarily be proceeds of crime, and we fall on that to execute the restitution order.
How are we balancing the rights of people, considering random stops and checking cars, for example? Driving my small Kia and then I'm stopped because
they want to check.
Yeah, how are you balancing?
Again, this is okay. So I'll take this opportunity to address two issues here because of this question. First of all, Yoko does not do random stops. It's a misconception out there. Maybe some other institution. So I will not speak on it because it's outside my purview. But Yoko does not do stops. Yoko has a database first of all. That's the first bit. We also have our parallel investigations when someone comes in as a person of interest in an investigation. We are able to trace, track, and locate where the properties are, then proceed to recover, restrain, and most likely repatriate that. That's the first bit. So we don't do any of the stopping people in traffic and no, we don't do any of that. Secondly, it has come to our attention that some unscrupulous people are taking advantage of these Yoko recoveries and going to people's houses and taking their car under the pretext that is stolen. If such a person comes to you, ensure that the person has proof of identity. Yoko is not in the business of sending individuals to recover vehicles. We send teams, and teams are geared to visibly show that Yoko is actually here.
What shall I see?
That you will see a vest. You will see a vest. Not only that, you should be able to identify them by them showing you their ID cards. If you are still not convinced, I'll give our phone numbers. You can call 0547 419 419, 0547 419 419.
You have an interesting number.
Thank you. You can call that number and verify if Yoko has sent anyone for any operation to recover anything.
Okay. So these people that come to you, based on the information, they are protected, right?
Yes.
Yes. They're protected with the Whistleblowers Act or what?
Yes. Again, it depends on how you come. If you come under the Whistleblowers Act, that's a different regime altogether. That means that you are entitled to a certain percentage of all recoveries that Yoko makes in line with the information that you have volunteered. We also have very good citizens that volunteer information, and we have an obligation to protect you under the laws. We also have what we call the Witness Protection Act. There is a Witness Protection Act in Ghana that allows us to hide or prevent people like this from being known. So there are lots of laws and regulations that allow us to do
Leo, have you heard about Rambo-style arrest in this country?
Well,
that has been widely associated.
It's something that I've heard, but that is not true. Again, I don't know why that misconception is out there, because
what are you doing? What are you not doing right then? Because
we have never. I have just taken us through the pragmatic approaches that we use in inviting people. There's first of all a formal invitation.
We're talking about the Rambo style.
We have never. Yes. Yes.
The narration is that he got out of the CID and then all of a sudden your cars came, put him in the car, and then you.
But the narration
rode him away.
True.
Really?
That's not true.
Can the nature of the crime as well amount to Rambo-style arrest?
No, we do not. I want to put on record again. We do not do Rambo-style arrest.
How did you pick up on
it? It is not in our interest, because you see, the very nature or the very idea of a Rambo-style arrest, in my opinion, right, tells us that it can result in violence. What's the point in resorting to violence that would end up in the loss of lives and property?
What do you think people want to say that they're saying Rambo style? What's the accurate way of, how do you, what's the operation like for you?
I have no idea.
No, for Yoko, if you invite the person or the nature of the crime amounts to the fact that you must arrest the person, how is it done?
It's done with the utmost respect. I have led investigative teams on my own to go and arrest people, and we get there, the person has her children or their children there. We don't arrest in front of the children. We invite the person out, we talk to the person, we are here because of this, we are here to arrest you, your children are here, we don't want to do anything that will traumatize them for the rest of their lives. And most of the time, the people come out with us. And the chairman won't mean when it just happens, or unfortunately that it was outside, so people just gave interpretations to it. But it was never, he willingly came to our office with his lawyer. It was never
his own?
Yes, it was
you
never
didn't pick him up from the CID headquarters?
You see, say pick him up. That's where I have a problem.
How did you do it? Because that's what we're told. We just want clarification.
We escorted him to the
Okay, all right. How did you escort him?
With escorts. His lawyer agreed to bring him, produce him, and an investigation that we're conducting.
Okay.
And he drove, our cars drove by him, and we came to the office. He was not whisked.
There was no cuff.
He was not. He drove himself.
He drove himself.
He drove himself. I wonder why this is not in the public. He drove himself.
Your cars came to guide him.
Our cars came and guided him and ensured that.
Provided escort.
Yes, provided an escort.
Okay. Thank you very much. Leo Anthony Siamah is head legal and prosecutions at IOCO. Thank you for coming.
Thank you. I'm grateful.
This is all the AM show. We'll take a break here. We will be back with other interactions here with MFA Adeti.
Hey, thank you for staying with us here on the AM show. And our friends from the Energy Commission have just joined us to help us wrap the program on a very important program, implementation and enforcement of the electrical wiring program. And joining us are our friends, Engineer Stephen Yomo, Assistant Manager at Energy Commission, and as well Kweku Kwabia Apia, Officer at Energy Commission. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining us today on the show. Maybe I'll start with you, Engineer. Give us a brief background of the wiring program.
Okay, thank you very much. So the electrical wiring program was established to facilitate the implementation and enforcement of the electrical wiring regulation. The regulation was passed in 2011 to ensure the safety of life and property in the use of electricity. You agree with me that the benefits and importance of electricity cannot be overemphasized. Over the years, many countries have put measures in place to ensure universal electricity access. And 2023 World Bank data has shown that some African countries have actually attained 100% electricity access: Algeria, Morocco, Egypt. Now for Ghana, we have attained the 89.5% electricity access, ahead of Cote d'Ivoire, ahead of South Africa, ahead of our big sister Nigeria. Now, what this means is that the more electricity access we have, then the more people are exposed to the risk of electricity. Issues like electrocution, electric shock, burns, and even fires can be caused by electricity. And so the regulation was passed to ensure that safe wiring of facilities are done, the use of substandard materials or fake electrical wiring materials are limited, and the unprofessional persons engaged in the business of electrical wiring are no longer in the system. We don't, so that does not happen in Ghana. So basically the electrical wiring program is to ensure that facilities are wired safely by professional persons.
Okay, I mean, this will take me to the question of who are the stakeholders who's supposed to be part of this wiring. Maybe let me come to you, Kuku.
Okay, so we have a number of key stakeholders who are engaged with in this program, but then the major ones, I would list them as follows. We have the facility owners, then the certified electricians, certified inspectors, and then the distribution utility companies. The Energy Commission also has a part to play. Now, when we pick the facility owners, if you are a facility owner and you require service connection or to be connected to the grid, or as is most commonly referred to as seeking for a meter, your first and foremost obligation is to engage the services of a certified electrician. Now, this certified electrician is expected to prepare a bill of quantities for the job, that's an estimate, and then wire according to the Ghana wiring standards. Now, after the electrician is done, he invites over a certified inspector who comes to inspect and test the wiring that has been done. Now, after that has been done, the certified electrician pays the inspector and issues an installation completion certificate to the facility owner, who now proceeds to the distribution utility to begin the service application process. Now, the distribution utilities currently in Ghana, we have 3. That's the Electricity Company of Ghana, the Northern Electricity Distribution Company, NEDCO, and then there is Enclave Power Company Limited. So these are the distribution utilities we have in the country. Now, it's also the duty of these distribution utility companies to ensure that they receive the installation completion certificates for all wired facilities and actually ensure that before they connect to the grid, they receive those certificates as proof of proper wiring done. Now, the Energy Commission also comes in as a stakeholder to ensure compliance monitoring, where we check the activities of the certified practitioners, that's the electricians and the inspectors, as well as the distribution utility companies also.
Okay, so what does the certification entail? What's the like? What does it look like?
Okay.
I'll come to you.
Okay, so like I mentioned, the program is to ensure that unprofessionals or uncertified practitioners do not practice or do any household wiring in Ghana. And one way of doing that is by assessing them to ensure that they have the requisite knowledge and skill. Now, before you can be certified, you need to know what level of skill you have. So there are 2 main categories. That's the electrician category and then the inspector category. Now, the electricians are further divided into 3, domestic, commercial, and industrial. The domestic, they do wiring for residential apartments, single-phase connections, and then for commercial, they do for commercial places, markets, shops, office complex, hospitals, and all that. And then the industrial electricians, they do wiring for factory establishments. Now, when you come to the inspector categories, we have 2. The first one is those who have upgraded from electricians to become inspectors. They are called certified electrical wiring professional inspectors. And then we have the inspector CWI, who also needs to have a first degree or an HND or a Part 3 to come on board. Now, in order to sit for the examination, you need to, it's online now, go to the website of the Energy Commission, www.energycom.gov.gh,
okay,
or the website ghanawiring.com. Any of these will take you, and it's an online application process. All you need is a passport picture and an identity card, and then you pay the requisite fees, and then at the right date that will be published, you will come and sit for the examination.
Okay, which means that you don't just go about wiring.
No.
It depends on the exam you took and what category you're in. Tell me some of your success stories. How many practitioners has the commission certified so far?
Okay, so to begin with, our certification examination is conducted twice every year. So we have the May-June session and the November-December session. So currently, we have certified over 18,000 practitioners. That includes both the certified electricians as well as the certified inspectors. And this has taken effect since 2013, when we actually began certifying the persons engaged in the business of internal electrical wiring.
Okay, and so currently, somebody watching us, if they're looking for a certified electrician, where and how can they find them?
Okay, so it's not a difficult thing to find certified electricians. Now, the law mandates us to keep a register. And so our register of certified practitioners is contained on a mobile application. Now, the name of this mobile application is called the Certified Electricians GH. It's a mobile app. It's available on both Play Store and also the App Store. Now, once you download this application and you just log in, there's a simple login process. Once you log in, it automatically gives you certified practitioners, both electricians and inspected, within a 20-kilometer radius automatically. So anywhere you are, it gives you practitioners close by. Now, again, on that app, you have the access to also search for practitioners elsewhere. So I can be here now in Accra and search for an electrician probably in the Ashanti region or the Volta region. And all that is possible through the Certified Electricians GH mobile app.
I'm certain that I have so many questions, but this question I will not forget to ask. Who pays the inspector?
The electrician does. So let me chip this in before. We need to know that the practitioners we certify are not staff of the Energy Commission. So these are private individuals that we certify. The relationship between the Energy Commission and these practitioners are similar to that between DVLA and drivers. I have a driving license, but I'm not a staff of DVLA. Same thing too, we certify them, give them certificates, but they are not staff of the Energy Commission. Now, when the electrician does his wiring, it's his responsibility to invite the inspector to come and check his work. And because he does that, he is the one responsible for making the payment. Now, we've heard complaints sometimes where some certified practitioners, after doing their wiring, they ask the facility owner to go and search for inspectors to come and inspect the work, and that is wrong.
Okay.
It is the electrician that needs to get the inspector to inspect his work, and together they issue what are called installation completion certificates to the facility owner.
Right, so you say there, for more information, where can people go to?
www.energycom.gov.gh.
Okay.
Or you can simply call 0302813756.
Okay.
That's the Energy Commission's line.
Quickly, final words.
Okay.
Why people should engage these practitioners.
Okay, so these individuals are persons who have actually been certified or examined to ascertain their skill and competence regarding internal wiring. Now, after certification, we do not just leave them. We organize post-training for them to ensure that they are always abreast with current trends in the electrical wiring space. So, facility owners who intend to engage in any projects are required to actually engage the services of these certified practitioners for a good job done with regards to the standards.
Thank you so much. Our friends from the Energy Commission, Engineer Stephen Yomo here is Assistant Manager at the Commission, and Kweku Kwabia Apia as well as an officer at the Energy Commission. Thank you, gentlemen. But a much bigger thank you to you for joining us all through the show till now. Please stay for Joy News Desk with Mabiesi Nyamecha Thompson. I am MFA Akosiadati. Thank you for watching.
Thank you.